Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Robert, I see you in there with an early super chat. Appreciate that, buddy. Get the vibes flowing. This is one of my favorite days of the year. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Draft's getting ready to start. We got like 2 minutes left. We're going to talk about a little strategy as the draft goes on. This is an auction draft, also known as a salary cap draft. And this is a 14-team keeper league that I've been a part of for many years. A bunch of friends. We all know each other. Most of us know each other very well. We know our tendencies. We know our strategies. I'm assuming that the league you're in is going to be pretty similar. You know the people. Usually these leagues are, everybody lives in the same state. So some of the things you have to be aware of are hometown picks going for more than they maybe should. And some things like, there's all kinds of different strategies you need to think about. One of the main things you need to do when you before you even begin, as you're doing your research, you should map out all the different positions that you have to fill with your draft. And over here on the left, you can see we've got catcher, first, second, third, short, but we have 2 different slots. Always be aware that whatever strategy you're watching or reading up on or researching, their leagues are going to be different than yours. So make sure you take that into account. We've got a middle infield slot and a corner infield slot with 5 outfield positions, a bunch of pitcher slots, and then 4 bench spots as well. Now, when you're mapping out your strategy, what you should do is get yourself a blank piece of paper and write down all these different positions that you have to fill on here. We've got 2 keepers. So my keepers, see if I can find my team on the top. I got Ellie De La Cruz for $11, which is a steal. It's one of the best keepers in the league. And Jackson Merrill for $5, which is another really good pick. So already I'm saving a lot of money. I'd say like 60-ish, 60 to 70, depending on how aggressive people get. So I feel like I'm already doing really well. And let's click on the top, see some of the other keepers that people have. You'll see that these are the players available. Right here, we're starting in 10 seconds. But you can see that Judge, Soto, Lindor, Tatis, there's still superstars available. But LD's Loud team spent a ton of money on their keepers, so they're not going to have a lot of money to spend. They're not going to be able to get involved very much. And they nominate Jake Berger right off the bat, who's a sleeper. Now, you should take note of anybody who's maybe not a sleeper, but a guy who has gotten some publicity among the talking heads of a guy that you should consider drafting. Now, he's going to be batting in a key spot to get RBIs and home runs. I'm going to throw a little offer in if he's too low. Current offer of $10, pre-draft value of 9. First and third's a tough spot, so he's already up to 13, which is, I can expect that a lot of these guys are going to go for a little bit more right off the bat than they probably should, or that you would think they would go for in a standard league if you're looking at pre-draft values, things like that. People like to hop on guys that have been talked about. Jake Berger is one of them. He can hit a lot of home runs. It's a position of scarcity, first and third. And, the dude who spent all his money in advance, I'm not sure who that is. It's probably somebody I know. I just don't know all the names assigned to the people I know. But he's just looking to blow a lot of money, I guess. He's going to have a lot of spots to fill. And he's going to find himself running out of money real quick. Julio Rodriguez up next. He's got a pre-draft value of $45. So he's going to get way up there. You'll see that there's a lot of outfielders available at the top. And it's a top-heavy position, but it's really deep this year. There's a lot of outfielders that you can get throughout the draft. And you got to stay flexible. You got to be flexible when you're drafting. Don't be committed to anybody where you're gonna just break the bank. Julio went for $38. That's a good price. I would have got in on that. I hit the button too late because I'm gonna be busy talking to you guys, so it's gonna affect my strategy a little bit. But I would have got in on Julio for $38. That's a good price. That might end up being like the steal of the draft. Who knows? Ellie was so cheap, Uncle Fester, because it's a keeper league. So I picked up Ellie for $1 2 years ago. So I saved him, or I kept him for $1 last year. And then this year there's a $10 premium attached to it. We got Trey Turner. There's a lot of shortstops. There's a lot of premium shortstops. One of the things you should do is put all the different positions into a tiered list, so that you know where the drop-offs are. Where are the drop-offs in the tier? We got a $38 pre-draft value for Trey Turner. I turned the sound off so it didn't annoy you guys, but that's one thing. $34. He should get up to the pre-draft value. I've already got a shortstop, so I'm not interested in getting down on a shortstop early unless the value's there. He went for 35, so it's interesting seeing some values early. Usually that doesn't happen. Jordan, I guess he's got left field eligibility. So he's got outfield eligibility, which is good. Some things you got to think out, like I was talking about, write down all the positions that you need to fill. And before the draft, start working out how much you're willing to spend on position. Get some guys that you're eyeballing in advance. Like, these are some guys that I'm really interested in getting. And write them down, write the value, and keep a calculation going. How much money do you start with? We start with $260 here. And how much money are you willing to spend on each position? And then how many positions do you want to have for $1? So he's at 41. I'm going to keep an eye on Jordan. I'll put a bid if he's going to have any value. I'll throw a $43 bid on there. I want to try to get a couple of premium players. He's up to 45 already. I'm not going to go above 45 for Jordan. He's always got some injury concerns. He could have an MVP season. It's another thing that you should keep in mind is drafting a guy, especially in a keeper league, that could appreciate in value. Jordan's not going to appreciate in value for a $48 price. That's not everything, but you should definitely try to capture a few guys that will appreciate in value or have the potential to appreciate. Because at the end of the year, in order to win a league, the sum of your parts is going to have to equal more the following year than what they were paid for that year. So you're going to have to find some guys in the range below $40, probably the range below $30, that end up being first round talents the following year, first or second round talents. Now here we've got Judge. We might as well throw an offer of $40 on there right off the bat. Let's just get by all the nonsense, because I'm willing to spend a lot of money on Judge. I don't know about anybody else, but this is a guy that can win you the league if he stays healthy, because he can put up MVP numbers. He's too cheap. I'm going to keep bidding him up. Another strategy you have to consider is bidding people up, even if you're not willing to take them. And I'm gonna kind of split my bids up between guys that I do want and guys that I don't want. Try to keep it like 50-50. Bidding on guys I want, bidding on guys I don't want, because you don't want to only bid on guys that you want, because then people can outbid you. So he's up to $55. That's a good price. There's values popping out early in the draft. So start noticing some tendencies. People aren't quite paying for guys maybe what they're worth. Juan Soto, a lot of hype. I imagine he'll go for his pre-draft value of 50, but maybe not. People aren't willing to spend tons of money. Juan Soto is a little bit overvalued in this league because we don't have on-base percentage, and that's something that he thrives on, is his on-base percentage. We don't have that as a category, so you really got to hope that what's he going to fulfill? 3 other categories. He's going to get you home runs, RBIs, runs, and average. So he's like a 4-category player. He's not going to get you steals, though. People like to have multi-talented, versatile players. Is he going to get up to 50? Yeah, he'll get up to 50. I would think he'd get up to $50. So there I am, 49. Top Gunners goes to 50. It's exactly pre-draft value. I don't want to spend more than $50. I don't want to handicap myself. I've got a few guys that I do want to spend money on, and really that's it. There's a few guys I want to spend money on, but I'm going to stay versatile throughout this entire draft. Now, I won last year, so I'm the reigning champ, and I'm trying to provide you guys with some strategy that you can use in your draft. How many people we got up in the house? Shout out to all of you. Hit that like button if you don't mind on your way in. Gunner starting on the DL. Will you still draft him in a 5x5 league? I'm not drafting him. He's a keeper, so he's not even available. Soto up to $58. Top Gunner I played him in the championship, so he's the best player besides me. I would call us the top 2 players in the league. $55 for Aaron Judge, $58, even more for Juan Soto, which is interesting. He is in his prime. He should have an absolutely phenomenal year. And while you're doing your draft, make sure you have a few tabs open. Let's see. I'll just show you one of my tabs. We got Zach Wheeler up there. One of the top pitchers you can get. He's got a pre-draft value of $40. We'll see how he goes. I don't like spending that kind of money on a starting pitcher, but this is one of the tabs I have open right here. It's just a tier list, third base tier. I've got all the tiers, or at least several of them opened up. So you can kind of see where the tiers drop off and where you should be spending money or where the cutoffs are. I disagree with a lot of these tiers, but I just like to have it open just in case. I've got my own tier list, which is what I recommend you do. Drop this down a little bit. I'm going to be just taking it easy. Leaning back. We're in for the long haul today, my friends. So $25. I'll throw another $1 in there. I'd like to get an elite pitcher. I don't really care who it is up to a certain point. You know, there's only a handful of elite pitchers, but if Zach Wheeler's the guy, I'll take Zach Wheeler. Top Gunners coming in for $29, $30. Now we got some people bidding. Like I said, I'm going to bid on guys that I don't necessarily want. And just to put it out there, like, oh, Stryker's bidding on a guy. He must be good. $31, that's a fair price. That's a good price. He went well below the actual value of what our league is saying that he's worth. Music Gnome, good vibes, brother. I wish you well. Jenks, I see ya. Matthew, Dakota, what's up? So Ozuna, DH only, but he can provide a lot of home runs from Ozuna. Good batting average. Massive RBI potential. His numbers are projected for a little bit lower than last year. And you're a little bit handicapped because of the fact that he's DH only. I don't like drafting DH only guys because I want to have flexibility on my league, but I will throw a bid in. Like it just depends. You got to stay open for potential value. Like if he goes for the right price, I'll take him. $14 right now. They're gonna. I thought they were gonna give him to me for $14. Huge home run upside. I'll throw another bid on there if I can get him for less. Got to try to find some value. $18 for Ozuna is a good price. Real good price. There's a lot. I'm actually really surprised at the low prices for a lot of these dudes popping off early. We got Wyatt Langford, $26 pre-draft value. So some other things is get an idea of what percentage you want for your offense, what percentage of your budget do you want to spend on your offense, and what percentage of your budget do you want to spend on pitching. You can start out with 60-40. Some people like to go 70-30, 50-50, whatever you want to do. There's different strategies across the board. A lot of people have a different idea on the percentages they want to spend. Like you'll see, there's some people in this draft that like to go really high on starting pitching. I know my boy Top Gunners likes Wyatt Langford, so I'm going to try to bid him up a little bit. He's not going to get him for cheap. And let's see if they stick me with him for $29. Good. That was one of the guys I had highlighted as a guy that I wanted to get on my team. Wyatt Langford, here's why. Immense upside. Remember I was talking earlier about guys who you could draft that the following year they could be worth a whole lot more. And Wyatt Langford's one of them. He could have the kind of year that assigns him a first round pick next year because he can kind of do it all. He's going to be batting really high up in the order. According to the pre-draft value, I overpaid for him, but I expect to overpay for every single guy that I want. I already have it baked into all my numbers. And I think that that's a good strategy. You should do that. You should bake in a couple extra dollars for the guys that you want. So if a guy, if the pre-draft value says $30, you should probably be willing to spend 35 on him, or at least like 32, a couple dollars more. Lindor is an elite player. I expect him to go for close to that pre-draft value. I'm gonna throw a little bit in on there just to keep the ball moving, keep it rolling, let people know this is a guy. But here's one of the problems. If you start in a bidding war with somebody and you don't plan on taking him, other people will back out because they see, oh dude, we gotta pay for Lindor. He's got a pre-draft value of $48. Like, I gotta keep people honest here. Somebody's gotta keep people honest. Dude, come on. People aren't spending money. Lindor's a $48 player. If I can get him for $37, I'll take him. That's a steal. I don't know what people are doing. Like I said, you got to be open. You got to be ready to adjust. And one of the worst things you can do is have money on the table at the end of the draft. If you have money on the table at the end of the draft, you've made a big mistake. Because that money, think of it as an upgrade from a previous position. So, guy that I wanted, Langford, I needed one elite outfielder to go with Jackson Merrill. And Lindor, the only place I can use him is second base, shortstop, and utility. But now I've got another guy who can kind of do it all. He's going to have a massive year with Soto in that lineup. He's going to score a ton of runs. He can steal bases, home runs, good batting average, checks all the boxes that you need. Freddie Freeman's a guy I have no interest in whatsoever. I'm not even going to throw a bid in on there. Freddie Freeman is going to have a down year from last year. That's my call. You got to make your own calls and you got to have your own hunches. Freddie Freeman for $34 is, I don't like that at all. But then again, first base has a little bit of a scarcity attached to it. So, I mean, I can see why they would spend money on Freddie, and also he's a name. Now, Bellinger is a guy who I had circled as somebody who I was interested in. I am interested in. But for me, it was going to be Bellinger and another player or Langford. So my math on that is if Bellinger plus my other player equals Langford, who would you rather have? Because when you get down into that $10 range, like Bellinger's pre-draft value was $10. Now he's all the way up to 20. There's a little bit of hype on Bellinger going into the season, being on a new team. He's having a good spring. He's hitting balls out to left field, left center. And we all know Yankees' right field porch is susceptible for home runs to lefties. So we've got a bidding war on Bellinger. He's way over his pre-draft value. People aren't looking at the pre-draft values. That's one thing that I've noticed here. So I'm going to change my flexibility, and I'm just going to get really, really flexible here. And I'm going to go on players that I might not have pinpointed for my list. You know, I told you write down all the different positions. What are you willing to spend on each position? But I've already went off of that. How much money? Always keep track of how much money everybody else has around you and how much you have left. So I spent some money early that I wasn't actually planning on spending. I've only got $188 left, and I've got a lot of spots to fill. So I've got to take it easy for a while. Also, when it comes to nominating players, you need to not only nominate players that you want, but you also have to nominate players you don't want. My friends and I know that multi-position eligibility players are an Achilles heel for one of our league mates here. So we draft him nice and early. He has a pre-draft value of $0 and he's already up to 9. So there's crazy things happening all the way. You get $260, Uncle Fester. Willie Castro for $9. Little bit of an overspend there. We've got a lot of outfielders coming down the pipeline, a lot of elite outfielders coming down the pipeline. And you have to get at least one outfielder. Brent Rooker is a player a lot of people are talking about. He had a great year last year, and the A's have an upgraded park this year. So he's a quote-unquote sleeper for this year, but he's getting a lot of hype, and he was nominated He was nominated early. I gotta see. Looks like, I don't know where the nominations are, but I gotta be ready. I should put a guy in my queue that I want to nominate. I don't know who it's gonna be yet. Be looking at your queue. So Brent Rooker went way cheap. $16. This is pretty crazy. Guys are all over the board. People are not willing to spend money, and they're going to regret it. So what this tells me, since people aren't spending money early, is there's going to be middle rounds, and people are going to be sitting on a lot of money. So mid-range players are going to get way overvalued. Boom. We're shifting. We're adjusting. Tatis, one of the last first-round talent type of guys available at a position of premium. Remember, we have 5 outfield slots. A lot of leagues only have 3 outfield slots. We have 5. We got to fill that up. So I'm going to keep my eyes on Tatis, see where he goes, and be willing to make a move if I have to. But he's a guy who can get you 30-30 easily. He's a guy who can get you 40-40. He can bat 300, 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases, 100 RBIs, 100 runs. Like, Nando can do it all. So he should be, I mean, people should be willing to spend the $46 pre-draft value on him. And it looks like a lot of people are in on him, and they should be. And I got my eye on it. We're at $38. He should go for more. If he's not going to go for more, someone's going to get a steal. $38. There's another steal. That's more money that's going to be assigned to an overpayment of a guy later in the draft. Very interesting what's happening here. Who's the next guy? Bryce Harper, first baseman, $36 pre-draft. Can you share your team on the left? Yeah, hold on. There we go. I got Ellie for 11, Lindor for 37, Langford for 29, and Merrill for 5. I'm doing really good. I've got a lot of guys who can do multiple things, which is what you want. You want versatility. Single category guys are great, and having a couple of them in your lineup's great, but you want to try to fill it in with as many dual threats as possible. Because baseball is very streaky, and guys go through highs and lows throughout the season. They go through slumps, and they have weeks where they're absolutely awesome. So when you get a guy who can only do one thing, there are going to be some weeks that he doesn't do that thing. For example, if you get a guy who's like really home run heavy, but he bats like 220, you're going to have weeks where he just goes 0 for, and he doesn't get you your home runs. Well, he's not going to get you stolen bases either. At least if you have a guy who can get you some stolen bases, he can get on base, maybe score a couple of runs, maybe get a couple stolen bases, and he might not have a successful week. He may have a 100 batting average, but he can still fill up a couple of categories for you. This is a category league, 5x5 category league. Standard runs, home runs, batting average, RBIs, and stolen bases are offensive categories. We haven't had a lot of pitchers go yet. Very interested. Some other things you need to think about when you're drafting. Where's the potential scarcity at? What positions are scarce? So we got Jazz, plays third base and outfield, multiple eligibility, which is important, and $36 to Houghton's Heroes. That's right where he should be. A little bit more. You know, maybe he's a little bit more expensive because Jazz does have an injury history. So to have that be one of your most expensive players, which, let's see, Houghton's Heroes. Yeah, Jazz is his most expensive player. That's kind of, I would have liked Jazz if I could get on for like $25. 36. He could have an absolute monster year. If he stays healthy, he's going to have an absolutely monster year. Ellie for 11 seems like, yeah, it's a keeper. I got him for, I picked him up off the waivers a couple years ago, like a week in advance before he even made his big league debut. So I got him for $1, and I kept him last year. So then every additional year you keep him, he goes up $10. So Merrill, I drafted last year for $5, so I get to keep him for $5 this year, but next year he'll be $15. Other things you need to think about is where you can save money, which position you can save money at, and if you miss out on a tier, what's the tier that you can punt? What's a category that you can punt? Like if you miss out on a tier, are you just going to straight up say, all right, I'm just going to grab a guy that's $1 then, or maybe $2, instead of taking a guy who's maybe like 10, who's questionable. Now Vlad's a guy, yeah, he's going for a lot. A lot of people are all over Vlad. People think he's going to have a career year because it's a contract year, and rightfully so. He's already up to 45, so he's well over pre-draft value. This is a guy a lot of people had circled. And first base is a bit of a scarce position. $47. Does he get to 50? I doubt it. Probably stops right here at 47. Yeah, stopping at 47. So he got way overbid, and like I was telling you, now is probably the time where maybe every single player from here on out is going to go for more than they should, because there was that early value. And that happens in this league sometime, where people are like, they put the brakes on early in the draft because they just want to feel it out and see where the value's at. But we've already had so many guys who were kept, so many elite players that were kept, that the elite players are already starting to dry up. So we got Matt Olson, who is not having a good spring. He's not really having a good spring, but he's an elite player. He can be a guy who has a really low batting average. $29, and here we have it. People are starting to pay. They're starting to pay. $2 over draft price already. $3 over draft price. It's happening. So now I'm pretty glad that I got Lindor for a good price. I made that switch. I didn't want another middle infielder, but I made the switch on the fly. Let's see. Shortstop's a deep position too, which is another reason why I didn't really want to go. I didn't want to draft another shortstop early, but Lindor can hit home runs, and you need home runs any way you can get them. I'm hoping I get home runs out of all of my guys that I drafted. Maybe not elite home runs, but home runs nonetheless. Austin Riley, coming off of a little bit of an injury, hand injury. He's off to a bit of a slow start, I believe. He's got a $30 pre-draft value. He's going to get there. I would imagine he gets to like 35. If he doesn't get there, I'll jump in. We'll see where we're at. He's up to 30 already. 31. I'm going to go $1 over Top Gunners, because Austin Riley was a guy on my list, and there we go. I just wanted to make him pay a little bit more, and just like that, a couple more guys jumped in. So now he's above his pre-draft value, up to $35. Someone's going to have to overpay for him, and we're good. Yeah, I'm on a delay. I haven't used a delay before, so I don't know how it's translating to the screen, Chuck. See the bidding? The bidding's up top. Oh, you mean this? Hold on. There we go. It's a little bit better. There we go. So Austin Riley for 37. Team Jobu needs a refill. Had to overpay for him quite a bit. But maybe not. He could end the year as a $40 player. He's probably not going to be much more than 40, but he might be. He's another guy who has a good batting average, which I tend to punt batting average. back to the what position do you want to punt and what category do you want to punt? If you want to do that, that's a strategy that I like to use. I punt batting average. I don't think about batting average too much. It's too hard to control. It fluctuates from year to year. Unless you just stack your guys with batting average. But if you stack your guys with batting average, you're going to lose. Plain and simple. Like if you just have a team full of guys that have a good batting average, you're probably not going to win. Devin Williams for $26. I did not have him on my radar as a guy that I want to draft. I've got a few closers in mind that I want to get. I have a specific pitching strategy that I'm going to try to implement. The thing with pitching is there's a ton of guys that are kind of the same, and they're all in the same range of prices. So when you get to the basically like $15 range, like $5 to $15, all those guys are pretty much the same. So you can just load up on like $5 to $10 pitchers if you want. But pitching is also a place where I like to save money. No difference? Okay. Yeah, I put it on a 30-second delay. Just because I know some of the boys are watching the stream. I don't want to give away all the juice. Manny Machado, another position of scarcity. And we can see that Top Gunners knows that. He was in on Austin Riley. And now he's in on Manny Machado. Always a solid player. But he's in a bad ballpark for hitting. But he's got a really good offense around him. So he should be in line for at least 100 RBIs. Right around 30 home runs, probably a little less if I had to guess, and right around a 280 batting average. Very solid player. Top Gunner's got his third baseman. Now he doesn't have to think about that anymore. He doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Jackson Chourio is the next player up, and he's a guy that's been getting a lot of hype this offseason. He was on my team. I could have kept him for $14, but I had better value in Jackson Merrill and Ellie De La Cruz. So I kept them instead. And here he is. Let's see where he goes. I'm willing to jump in if people aren't valuing him as high as he should be. I'm going to leave that up to the market. We'll see what happens here. Then again, I already have Jackson Merrill and Wyatt Langford. I'm probably not going to go too heavy from here on out on outfielders because I want to leave I want to leave at least one slot for a $1 player in my outfield. At least one, if not two. Because it's one of those spots where you can pick up an outfielder as the year goes on. You can find a guy who's coming up, getting called up from the minors, or maybe a guy who moves up in the lineup. So he's already up. People are all over him. People, usually somebody who's not really deep into baseball, they're going to just go look at what the experts say, and a lot of the experts are all over Jackson Chourio, but that's baked into his price. $39 for Jackson Chourio. I mean, he's already up to 44, so it's exactly what I was telling you. He's on everybody's list of guys that could break out this year. But you know what? At $44, there's no value baked in there. He's not going to be a $55 player next year. Unless he somehow wins MVP and is just like an absolute monster. Maybe there's a little bit of value baked in, but not much. And Pete Alonso, a guy who has a low batting average, so he's gonna hurt you from a batting average standpoint, but he's got a lot of hype around him. He's already over his pre-draft value. Let's see where he goes. $30 to the foul balls. That's already well above. He had a $25 pre-draft value. Let's see. I'll bet him up a bit. See how much the foul balls and aces from spaces was willing to pay for Pete. $36. I'm the leader right now. And I already have Lindor. And just like that, I got the other guy who I wanted. I was willing to go up to 40 for Pete. Vlad was a guy who I was willing to pay in the 40s for, and first base is really scarce, and now I've got home runs locked up. Between all the players I have so far, I've got home runs locked up. I wanted Pete. I thought Pete was going to have a career year this year. And, we'll have to see. He's another guy. He's got to prove it. He's in the prime of his career, and he's got a better team around him this year than he did last year. He's going to have an opportunity. I think Pete could get like 140 RBIs this year. So that's why I spent on him. I'm down to $152, and I got one of the last guys at the position of scarcity. In my opinion, first base is one of the most scarce positions in terms of elite talent. You've got Vladdy, Harper, I guess Freddie Freeman. I mean, according to the experts, Freddie Freeman and I guess Matt Olson, but I like Pete better than Matt Olson and Freddie Freeman and Bryce Harper. I had Pete as my number 2 first baseman. Vlad, then Pete. After that, it drops off big time. Luis Ariz, but he's multi-position eligible. There's no way I'm drafting Luis Ariz. And Josh Naylor, okay, he can put up numbers for sure. Bellinger's a question mark. Jake Berger's a question mark. Alec Boehm doesn't do anything but batting average. And we just go down from there. So that was my main goal in this draft, was to get either Vlad or Pete. And then also one of the kind of elite outfielders with upside, which I accomplished with Wyatt Langford. Like, I think Langford has the ability to go from $29 to a potential $40 player next year because of where he's batting, the team around him, and his athletic ability, his prospect status. Pete is home run or bust. Not really. A lot of RBIs. RBIs are another scarce category. So there's a couple of scarce categories. Home runs and RBIs are the 2 toughest to lock down with elite players. You may be able to find some home runs, but guys are going to have a really low batting average. And they're going to crush you. So I'm hoping... I had Pete on my team last year, on my championship team, and he had a meh season. But I really needed to lock down first base. Junior, big upside. He's all the way up to $26 already. So you can see exactly what I was talking about earlier. It's happening. People are overpaying now. You might argue with the fact that 26 is overpaying, but he hasn't proven it yet in the bigs that he's going to give you a ton out of any particular category. So we don't really know. There's a question mark assigned to him, and to pay $26, it's overpaying. Christian Walker was a decent value at 22, but Christian Walker is not a guy I was looking at. Let's pull up. Corbin Burns, an elite pitcher. I'll get on him if I can. But see, the thing about Corbin Burns is he's like barely a strikeout an inning guy. So there's not a ton of upside there. He should do pretty good, but his underlying metrics aren't that good. Let's look at Christian Walker. The biggest problem I have with him is right here. He's 34 years old. He's on the downside of his career. I can't see him doing better than he did the last couple of years. Look at this trajectory right here. 2022, 36 home runs. 2023, 33. 2024, 26. And I don't like that trajectory at all. And I think it's only going to get worse from there. Maybe, I mean, he should be able to get 26 home runs again, but I don't know. He's aging, and usually you don't end up just being better when you're 34 than when you were 33. There's Luis Ariz. Multi-position eligibility is going to increase his value, and the fact that he can hit over 300, people are going to pay for that when they shouldn't. Now, it's fine because there's not a lot of good second basemen, but I like to punt second base. It's a position. I don't care who I throw in at second base. I'll change it around through the year, but I'm certainly not paying. He's already up to $15, $16, and a pre-draft value of $4. No thanks. He should score a lot of runs. He's going to have a good batting average. He's not going to hit you any home runs. He's not going to steal you any bases. So he's getting way overvalued already. O'Neal Cruz is a deal. I mean, we'll see, Wong. You see what's going on here? He's already up to $20 a rise. He's a $4 pre-draft value. So stay flexible. See what people are doing. See who people want to pay for. Aces from Spaces and LD. Let LD have him for 21, and he's not going to have any pitching on his team if he gets this for 21. Yeah, he's got $118 left and a ton of spots to fill. It's not good. But then again, I only have 152 and I have a ton of spots to fill too. But one of the things when you're doing the strategy that I'm doing, which is studs and scrubs, I'm going to pay for a few studs and I'm going to fill out the rest of my roster with affordable guys because I pay attention throughout the league. I know all the prospects that are getting ready to get called up, and I'm going to take a lot of gambles on prospects. It's not a gamble when you pay $1 for a player. And yeah, Barry Bonds, I know. I knew someone was going to say that. Barry Bonds only got better at age 35. He had a little help. Santander was a guy I wanted. But instead, I took Langford. If Santander was a good price, I would have taken him. And I'm going to put a bid in because I like the Blue Jays this year. I'm going to make people pay for him. There's $25. What you think about that? I'll pay $25 for him. There you go. You can keep him now. So I bid him up. I didn't want him for $25, but I just bid him up because I want someone else to pay a little bit more. I already got Langford. I don't have money. I don't have another $25 to spend really on another outfielder. I'm not interested in spending a bunch of money on an outfielder at this point, but I will bid some people up. Aces from Spaces. Filling out that roster a little bit. He got Caminero and Santander. Okay, now here's the guy. What does Acuna go for? Nico's a great pick for second. I looked at Nico, but I don't know. He doesn't really give you a whole lot. Let's see what happens with Acuna. I'm going to keep my eye on him. If no one wants to bid on Acuna, if he's a value, I'll grab him. But there's no way I'm paying $25 for him. No way. See, okay, he's already up 22, 20. Let's see, 22. He is a guy who could be a $50 player next year. So that's one of those criteria I was talking about earlier. One of those guys, you do want him on your team. If you're willing to gamble, if you need a guy like that, and it's fine. Yeah, he went for 24. That's a good price. You can gamble for $24. I can't gamble now on that guy. I'm not going to gamble on Acuna just based on my roster construction. I'm not going to need him. But if you want to take that strategy and have a few gamblers on your roster, I don't mind it. That's just not where I'm going. Wonk says I try to get leadoff hitters, get more at-bats and steals. Yeah, that is definitely a good strategy. But there are cheaper guys you can get that are leadoff hitters that can just get you that. You don't really want to only focus on that because then you're going to be empty on RBIs and home runs. And those are the categories that dry up the quickest in my experience. RBIs and home runs. Steals, you can find steals out of guys who maybe aren't that good in any other category. Logan Gilbert, we got a $35 pitcher, the top pitcher on the board right now. There's 3 pitchers in a row. Let's see what people do. Logan Gilbert's elite, plays in a great pitching ballpark. Should get a ton of everything. Strikeouts, going to have a good ERA. I just don't know if he's got the name recognition that the league will take him up to his value. He's already $30. There's no way I'm paying $30. Because of what I said earlier, there's going to be plenty of guys. Torque and Javi, yeah, right. Jeremy says, no number of mock drafts can prepare you for the insanity of the live draft. Yeah, Jeremy's in the league, by the way. Everybody give Jeremy a shout out. It's my brother-in-law. Yeah, it gets crazy. This is already a wild draft. It's all over the place. You can't prepare for something like this. You can do your best. Like, I've prepared for it the most that you could prepare. I've got everything ready to go. I feel very comfortable. I'm very knowledgeable about all the players and the position that they're in, their upside, their downside, their injury history, how to fill out your roster, and how certain players can give you different things from different positions of need. So what's going to happen is first basemen are scarce now. Let's look at them. First basemen are gone. So if you want any one of these decent first basemen that are left, you're going to have to overpay. People are going to look at their lineup and they're going to be like, oh no, nobody's left at first. I better pay for whoever's left. And you can see it happening right now as I'm talking about it. Pre-draft value at $8 for the Italian Nightmare, and he's already up to 16. It's already happening. That's why I wanted to pay for Pete, because you cannot find a guy who can do what Pete Alonso can do. You're not going to find him on the waivers. He's not available in the draft anywhere else. There's no player left in the draft that can do what Pete Alonso can do. That's why I paid more for him. Pasquantino going for $21. It's crazy. Let's Turn 2 says, within hours of my keeper league draft yesterday, my picks, McClanahan, Geloff, and Diaz all go on the IL. Oh no. McClanahan's on the IL? It's good to know. Better look that up. See what's going on with that. Ooh, nerve irritation on his triceps. That's good to know, because he was a guy I had circled. Jack Flaherty for $8. I'll throw. Okay, there we go. See, he's a local hero. Well, the local. He plays for the Tigers, and we're in Michigan, so Tigers are all going to go for a lot more. See, he's already up. Pre-draft value of $4. He's going to have a good season. He's up to 12, 13. He could be a $15 player. I could see people taking him for 15. That's what I was talking about with the pitchers. It's referred to as the glob by a lot of people in the know. The glob of pitchers. Guys between $5 and $15. They all can have big years. They're streaky. Some games they're elite, some games they're not. A lot of streaky, you don't really know what you're going to get pitchers. So you either go with a couple of elite pitchers or play around in the glob. Jack Flaherty for 14. That was a good nomination. Okay, I have to nominate a guy in 2 turns, so I got to start thinking about who I'm going to nominate. Let's see what people think about Cole Reagans. $4, $5, $7. What do you say we get up to about $15? There we go. There we go, boys. This is a guy you're going to have to pay for. Sorry, boys. You're not going to get him for that cheap. There we go. Now we're talking. Houghton likes to take pitchers. See? He's up to 31. I don't want to pay that much for Cole Reagans, really. $31. Told you I hit 2 bombs yesterday, says Uncle Fester. Red Sox King, what's up, man? Salvador Perez, the final first base eligible guy who can get, I guess he could get you 35 home runs. It says he's projected for 25 home runs. Last year he had 27. So they're gonna spend money on him. Like I said, they have to. You have to. If you want a first baseman, you're gonna have to overpay now for him, for one. Otherwise, you're gonna regret it. I would not pay $20 for Salvador Perez. He's just. I think he's definitely past his prime. Still a good player, still solid, but. All right, who am I nominating? Brenton Doyle. Solid outfielder that a lot of people have been talking about preseason. Let's see what happens. Plays in Colorado, the best hitting ballpark, in a good spot in the order. He should get a lot of the counting stats that you're looking for. Let's see if anybody even knows. Maybe this is a guy that goes below value. I don't know. I'm thinking that anybody in the know is willing to bid on him. I'll bid on him. I'll definitely take him if he's going to go for a good price. $13, $14, pre-draft value of 19, so he's got to get up there. 15's too good of a price, but I don't want him. I just drafted a guy I don't want, or I just nominated a guy that I don't want. And there we go, all the way up to 19. Let's see if he goes above. 21, mission accomplished. Hope Jack works out this year. Yeah, he's going to do well. It's the ballpark, man. Any of the Tigers pitchers, W's. Lane Murray says, I read somewhere that over 70% of long-term injuries are from starting pitchers. It makes it hard to pay out for the elite pitching talent. Yeah, but you want to have an elite pitcher on your team. You want to have at least my strategy is I like to have one elite pitcher, one guy right below elite, and then I can do whatever else after that. Basically, I want two really good pitchers, and then that's it. I'll fill out the rest of my roster with whoever, because there's so many guys. Like, I know pitching pretty well from playing daily fantasy. I know the values they should be at. And here we have O'Neal Cruz. Multi-position eligible. He's going to get bumped up just because of that. A lot of hype on O'Neal Cruz. There's going to be a lot of people to draft that need shortstops and outfielders. So he should go to value. He's at 27 already, 28. Here we go. Anything from here on up is overpaying, which I could see happening. Maybe not, though. $28 looks like he's, yeah. Oh, 29. Someone snuck in at the very end. Yeah, he's a $30 player, O'Neal Cruz, because he's got upside, but he's never done it. It's because he hits the ball really hard. He's got massive exit velocity. So you can translate exit velocity into the thought that he should do more than he's doing, and especially if he can stay healthy. He's a guy who has trouble staying healthy. Now, I'm at the point with my team, because of the flexibility, that I can do anything now. I don't care about catcher. I don't care about second base. I'd like to get a good third baseman. First, third slot, I'm going to leave open for a cheap player. I wanted to do that with second base, shortstop as well, but I had to change that strategy. So first, third, I'm going to just get a dollar player there. These 3 open outfield slots, not looking to spend a ton of money. So really now I'm looking for any kind of value. And I'm going to use that ability to the flexibility to bid people up. I'm going to bid them up. And if I get them, so be it. It's going to be a guy that I'm willing to take, that I maybe necessarily don't want to spend that much on, but I'm willing to take him. Goldschmidt, based on name recognition, he went from a $3 pre-draft value. He's up to $17 now. That's crazy. People know the name Goldschmidt. They know that he plays for the Yankees now, and it's a good hitting ballpark. And boom, that's all it takes. Goldie's on the downside of his career. He may have a slightly better year than last year, but when you get to the age that Goldschmidt is at, you can't catch up to fastballs, and that's been plaguing him, not being able to catch up to fastballs. And if you can't catch up to fastballs, your career is almost over. Let's look at Goldschmidt real quick. I want to see who Top Gunners, my friend, he always nominates players who he doesn't want. We'll see if he wants Dylan Cease. I don't know. Whoa! He nominated him for 23 right off the bat. He knows I like Cease, but I'm not gonna go crazy on him because he's a guy who could get traded too. Here we go, 30 bucks, 31, boom, 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 boom. One of the last elite pitchers, and like I may have to pivot right now to not getting an elite pitcher because I don't want to pay 34. I got Cease last year for like 20 bucks because I knew Padres ballpark, good for pitching, good team. He's going to get a lot of wins. So that's an overpay, a big time overpay for Cease. Framber Valdez. I don't know how people feel about Framber. He's not a big name. We'll see where he goes. Not a big name, but a big time pitcher. Slow. People are slow to bid on him. Makes sense. Let's see what happens. They're not going to be able to get him for too cheap. I'm going to bump up the price a little bit on Framber just in case. Looks like people are a little slow on him. There we go. I'm not going to let Rosser's Twin Terror have him. 23 bucks. I'm going to go 25. And he's officially into that zone where I don't want him anymore. I would have taken him for like 22, but I see people it's already up to $27. So there's a lot. We have a lot of pitcher spots to fill. What's up, Mark? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Jeremy says, I almost threw Goldie out there last time around just to see what happened. Yeah, that's a good call. Let's see what LD's loud team's all about. LD, not a ton of playing around money left. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on his roster only. And he's got, I think, the least amount of money. Not the very least, but pretty low. So he nominates Devers, and Devers has got a lot of question marks around him. I don't know if people know that. We'll see if they know it or not. A lot of question marks around Devers. I'm not interested in him, but if the price is right, I'll get in. Like a $21 Devers, 21, 22, I'll get in at 22. If I can get him for under pre-draft value, I'll take him. Because like I said, there's not a ton. We got to get up to the pre-draft value of Devers. Third base is a spot of scarcity. Okay, good. I didn't want to pay any more than that. I didn't want to pay 27, but I had to make somebody pay that much. You know what I'm saying? That's why I did that. Matty P, I see you, buddy. How we doing? Good. One of my favorite days of the year. Bailey Ober, underrated pitcher. I'm not big on Bailey, actually. But I think he's... Let me look at my little pre-draft value, see where Bailey Ober is. Because I don't know if he's that low ranked here. I think he's ranked about where he should. Yeah, he's like a mid-tier. I drew a line right above Bailey Ober as my tier. So when I'm drawing tiers, I had my first baseman tier. First tier stops at Pete Alonso. He's the number 5 ranked. And look what's happening with Rafael Devers. People probably don't know. He's dealing with a shoulder. Dealing with some issues. Might not have the year. He's a little frustrated. He's going to lose his job at third potentially. So a new sheriff's in town with Bregman. A new leader of the team. So Devers is probably going to have a down year. Now Corey Seager's a guy I wanted. I would have drafted Corey Seager if I didn't get Lindor. I like Corey Seager because he can give you home runs. He can give you a little bit of everything, and he's playing on a high-powered offense. So I'm interested to see what happens with Corey Seager. He's a big-name player. Everybody knows Corey Seager. I think he'll probably go for about 30 bucks. Shortstop's an important position on your team, the centerpiece of your team. But there are a lot of shortstops available, so I don't know that overpaying for shortstop is Wow. Okay. Whew. If he went for less than his value of 26, just for the sake of it, I would have had to throw a bid in on him. He would have been like a utility player for me, and I hate spending that kind of money on a utility player. I don't want to do that. He would only be utility on my team because I already have both of my shortstop positions filled up. And just like I thought, $31, he's over 30. I thought he might get to 30. He might get to 35. He's that kind of a player. He's still in his prime. He's a guy who could win MVP. So when you look at the guys that are left on this board, who could win MVP who's left on the board? Not a lot of guys. Really nobody, in my opinion. Nobody left on this board has a chance of winning MVP. Look at who we're talking about. Maybe Mike Trout. Put it in the chat if you see anybody remaining who has a shot of winning MVP. There's a lot of pitchers left. We're going to have a big old run on pitchers. I mean, not a run, but there's just a bunch of them here. So people are going to be nominating pitchers. And Matt McClain coming off an injured year. And he's another guy who bats for average. He's up to $12. His pre-draft value was $13. I'm going to go $14. He's actually a guy who I was targeting on my list. I had him, my number was $14, what I was willing to spend on him. He's over my number. I'm not going to go any higher. Here's why. I don't believe that Matt McClain's a $20 player. He's up to 18, so that's like right below the $20 spot. I think he could be like, he could cap out at about 18 to 20 at most. Mostly because he's kind of a one category guy, and it's batting average. Now, if you could have got Matt McClain for like $10 or $5 as a sleeper, but people have him ranked really high because he had that little spurt 2 years ago where he was really, really good. And he's multi-position eligible, shortstop and second base. Like I've been saying, people love that. Verlander for $2. What the heck? How did he slide in there? No one bid on him? I thought for sure some people were going to bid on Verlander. Altuve, another second baseman. People are going to want to fill out their second base slot, and he's going to get outfield eligibility too. So he'll be outfield and second base, which is big. But he's long in the tooth, so I think he might go for undervalue. But he does have a name so that people recognize. So maybe he won't go under. There's several guys who aren't 100% up to speed on all the different players and their current situations. Yeah, he's already there. There we go. Name value alone has gotten him up to almost $30. I don't think he's a $30 player anymore, not even close. I wouldn't even want him for $24, which is what his value was. Now he's up. It's a $29. Houghton. What about Matt Chapman? Probably not too much good upside. He did really well last year. He is on my little cheat sheet here. Chapman. He is right below. So I have a cutoff of an elite tier that's right above Matt Chapman of the number one top tier. My tiers are wider than most people's. Basically, my tiers are like how much I value them in terms of like a guy who can win you a league with what they can do. Now, Marcus Semion's getting a little old too, so for $17, I'm going to keep my eye on him, and if he goes for undervalue, which I don't know if anybody for a while now is going to go undervalue because people have plenty of money to spend still. But I will keep my eye on him. I'll go, no, didn't go. 17, 18. He can get home runs, which is really important. I'm going to go $19 on him. That's as most as I'm willing to spend. But he's also a tier guy for me. I'll take him for 19. Yes, Rangers. Okay. And I told you earlier I don't like to spend on second base, but Semien is the last guy in my elite tier of second baseman. So basically everything's going according to plan in terms of getting top tier talent at each position for me. And my top tier stopped at Pete Alonso. It stopped at Marcus Semien. It stopped at Francisco Lindor. Boom, boom, boom. I got all 3 of those players. And then my outfield tier, my elite, I only had like 5 players in my elite tier. So my second tier goes down a few slots of outfielders down to Mookie Betts. And then I didn't even bother going below that. So I like the fact that I'm spending money on elite players. I don't want to get stuck with a bunch of money and get into the mid tier. That is not my strategy. That's not what I want to do. Gip says, how does Roster's team have $240 left? Where is that? Because they have not spent any money. That's how. They've got nobody. So they're going to regret it. Anybody who has any kind of money left right now, like a lot of money left, they're going to regret it. Deadheads has a couple of good players at least, but he's a good player. He knows what he's doing. Aces from Spaces. I'm not seeing a lot of elite, like number 1 tier type of guys. Class A, elite closer, best closer in the league. I'm willing to bump that price up a little bit. I don't want Class A, but I'm willing to bump that price up. I got to make him pay at least what he's worth. $21. I'm going to bump it 1 more. I'll take him. But what I really wanted to happen was that right there. Boom, boom, $2 more over. Thank you. Take them. There's a handful of elite closers, and closers are kind of a weird, it's a weird position where you don't want to overspend on closers. You'd like to get 1 or 2. I've got a different strategy. I don't want to get into that yet because I don't want to spill the beans, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Offense is looking solid. Yeah, my offense is crazy. I have the best offense right now. Like, the offense that I have right here will carry me throughout the entire year. I don't need to spend any more money on offense. I might, because I like to spend at least 70%, like 70% of my budget on offense. And I'm there, pretty much there. I'm not completely there yet. Like I'm going to spend a little bit more money on offense, but I'm not going to go crazy. I don't need to. Other people need to spend money on offense now, and they're going to overpay. Like for Eugenio Suarez, he was a $3 pre-draft value. He just got way overspent, $12, way overspent on Eugenio. But we're at that point where third basemen are becoming a little bit scarce. Jeremy says the rosters also didn't keep anybody. Yeah, that's how they have so much money left as well. So they're going to start getting in on it. You can see they started putting in some bids. Look at the last 2 guys are from the rosters teams. So they have to spend some money. They're going to overspend on people. I'm going to make them overspend. Well, it's not my job. Somebody's going to make them overspend. Let's start looking. You really got to keep an eye on what people are spending money on and where you are in terms of how much everybody else has left. So I want to kind of be average to a little bit less than average on how much money I have left. And it looks like I'm right about average. 118, I have 133, so 118, 132, 139, 130. A couple of low balls, 76, 74. They're not going to be able to spend much from here on out. I don't want Michael Harris. He doesn't do enough. And I don't know where he's going to be batting when Acuna comes back either. If you told me he leads off all year, that's a different story, but I don't know that. Michael Harris has been a guy who they put in the 9 hole sometimes. Like when Acuna's back in the lineup, Harris might be batting 9th. I don't want that. There's no way I'm spending $24 on a guy who's batting 9th. Now, I don't know that for a fact. Filmington coming in. Buddy, I need you here. I need you here holding my hand, helping me out. Thanks for joining in, man. Holmes. Shh. Don't spill the beans. That may or may not be a guy I have circled. How much is James Wood? Let's find out. He was a guy I could have kept James Wood too. $13. He should probably be like a $15 player by the time it's all said and done. He might even get up to like 18. They're going to overpay. Now here's home runs. Keep your eyes peeled on what people are paying for home runs. If I was in the position where I needed home runs, which I don't need anything. I'm good to go. Like from here on out, I can do anything, and I'm going to win the league. I'll tell you that right now. Sorry, boys, but I got it locked up already. And here's what you're like. No, look at all these open slots you got. Doesn't matter. I'll fill all those slots out in any way, shape, or form throughout the year. Every one of my guys could be dollar players from here on out, and I'd feel confident enough that I could win I don't even have a pitcher yet. We'll see how it goes. But the problem with this strategy is early in the season, I'm going to struggle to dominate. I'm not going to dominate early in the season. It may take me like a month and a half before my team starts getting to the point where I'm going to win every single week. Because like I said, I'm not planning on my team looking like however I finish this draft, it's not going to look like this at the end of the year. These guys are going to be here. Pete, Simeon, Ellie, Lindor, Merrill, Langford. Those guys are going to be on my team. But everybody else is going to interchange. Like there's going to be a few more guys that I get in this lower range. The lower range of like, $5 to $10. I'm going to try to get a couple of decent pitchers. There's a lot of pitchers coming up. Like any of these guys, I don't care out of any of them who I really get. We got Bregman. He's an $11 pre-draft value. He had a lot of hype from the Tigers were going to have him hopefully on the team. That didn't happen. Let's see what he gets up to. I got a bid of 19, 20, $20 for Bregman. Oh boy. Someone's going to overpay for him. $22. 23. Boom. 25. Oh, he outbid me. 26. He probably clicked on it right after me. I really didn't want him for 25, but I would have taken him. And look, he's going to get up to $30. This is a purely a media play, and how everybody who's in this draft right now knows the name Alex Bregman very well, and they know that the Tigers were willing to break the bank for him. What's up, Owen? I see you. No chance he beat you. Okay. You got to talk a little trash. Your dad taught me that. Your dad taught me about talking trash. Blake Snell, one of my least favorite players. I drafted Snell a couple years ago and had to deal with the first half of the year, him being stinky. He's always stinky the first half of the year, but he's playing for the Dodgers, so he's going to get wins. He's already way overbid. I would never pay this much for Snell. Former Cy Young winner. He can do it. He's playing for a team where you would think like, oh, he's going to get wins, right? He's playing for the Dodgers. The Dodgers are not going to put him out there. Like Snell's going to be a guy who's going to be getting early in the season, especially 4 innings, not going to be eligible for a win. And if he stays healthy throughout the whole year, $26 for Snell. No thanks. Profar might lead off for the Braves. Yeah, that's another part of it, Uncle Fester, is like Profar's on there. When Acuna comes back, Acuna's going to lead off. Maybe not right away. They might try to work him in, ease him in a little bit. I don't see that. I see as soon as Acuna comes back, he's probably going to be leading off. And here are the pitchers. 26. People are paying for pitchers. So right now, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to pivot on pitching. People are overpaying for pitching. Pre-draft value of 18, $26 player. Yamamoto was a guy who I had on my board, but I'm not going to overpay. I'm not overpaying for that. I got to be a little bit careful. I only have $133 left, which is enough. Like I'm right around average now. I'm above some people. I'm below some people. I'm right around there, but I see people overpaying for pitching now, which means that they're not going to be able to overpay for pitching a little bit later once we get into the glob, which is coming really soon. No, it's a real draft, Frankie. This is my league. I've been in this league for many years. It's important. Adolis Garcia. How much for Garcia? Trim 38 month. Hey Stryker, good luck on your draft. Good vibes. Appreciate that, brother. I need the good vibes. This is a real league, so everything I do matters. Every move I make. Let's look at the pitchers that have been taken. We haven't had a pitcher in a while, but look at them all. We got Michael King, Bryce Miller, Josh Hader as a reliever, and then look at all these starters in a row. Nola, Webb, Imanaga, Kirby, Green, DeGrom, Lopez. It's just like pitcher central from here on out. I'll just take what falls. I'm not too concerned about any guy in particular because, like I said, I'm going to get half of my pitching roster throughout the league as I pick up guys and stream them. Some of them are going to work out and I'm going to have them till the end of the year. Some of them I'm just going to drop after they play that game. But eventually, guys are going to make the roster throughout the year. Soler, I'm gonna put a bid in on Soler because one more buck on Soler. Pre-draft value of $1. I like Soler this year. Gonna be batting cleanup for the Angels, right behind Mike Trout. Oh, I'm not paying more than that. I was hoping to get him for like $5 because he was a $1 player, but 10 times pre-draft value, can't do it. But I will bid him up on somebody. But yeah, I like Soler this year. If you can get him, he should be like a later round pick, but someone nominated him nice and early, and LD's Loud team way overpaid. And once again, not a lot of money left, LD. Luis Castillo, $9, pre-draft value. He's a guy that people know. He might get bid up. He's probably going to get, people are going to overpay for Castillo, I would imagine. Houghton's Heroes likes pitchers. Looks like he's in on Castillo. Maybe he was on his team last year or something and knows him. See what happens here. He's getting a little old, but I'm going to put some bids in on him. Myrtle Beach Merman likes him. He knows him. He's already up to $15 and I'm out. 16. It's that name. People know that name and he pitches in a good ballpark. He's going to get some wins too. So he's a good pitcher, but way overvalued already. Trim says, I like to wait on pitching when drafting. Yeah, I do too. There's a ton, like I said, there's a ton of pitchers coming and people are overpaying. So I'm just going to wait it out. There's tons and tons of pitchers. Pitchers, very volatile. You don't want to spend all your money on pitching. What's up, Rhino? Hyped for the season to start? Yeah, me too. This is like the beginning. This is the, like, the season is officially going to be kicking off. Pablo Lopez, $18 pre-draft value. He's going for under right now, which hasn't happened yet for a pitcher, and now he's at value, and now he's overpaid. Now he's being overpaid for. Love to see it. I love to see people overpaying for pitchers. It's like a dream come true. They were underpaying for elite offense and overpaying for pitchers. That's a gimme. What are some other things to think about? Make sure you think about, we talked a little bit about this, but what position are you willing to punt, or what spot in your lineup are you willing to punt? We've got the short base second position. You can punt that. I already filled him up with an elite player, which was not in the cards, but whatever. We've got plenty of outfield spots. I'm going to punt at least one outfield spot, maybe two. Multiple pitcher spots I'm willing to punt. Now, CJ's coming off of bad news. He ended the season poorly, but he was a guy I had my eye on. I would have been in on CJ, but people are already bidding him up. So I can't have another shortstop on my team. I'm not going to have another elite shortstop on my team. And he's already almost up to pre-draft. I wouldn't have paid this much for him. 24, but he is a guy, like we were talking about earlier, that so if he goes for $24 next year, he could have the type of season that gets him to the $30 range. Because he can kind of do it all. He can win you steals. And he was a guy who in the minors had elite batting average numbers. Batting above 300 in the minors, like regularly. So he can hit for average. He can win you steals. He can even get you a few home runs, and he's going to score a lot of runs. So he's a multi-position stud. Just hope he's in the right headspace, which I think he is. I think CJ's going to be just fine. Nice pick, Travis. So, like, I got Lindor for 37. You got CJ for 25. That could be switched. Like CJ could be a $35 player next year, and Lindor, maybe he's a $25 player. Who knows? But Lindor is so good that already. So we're overpaying for relief pitching too. Houghton's Hero is paying $23 for a $20 reliever. You don't generally want to spend more than $20 on a relief pitcher. That's like the peak. The peak. Like Hader is going to get you a lot of saves. He's going to have really good numbers. But last year he had a 3.80 ERA, and he is a lefty. And lefty closers I don't like as much, just because there's more really good right-handed hitters in the league. So if it just so happens that Hader's got to go in there against three righties, boom, 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 that can be tough, and that can inflate your ERA. You can blow saves. So $29 relief pitcher is way too much for Hader. I was just praising you, Travis, and now I'm going to have to give you a little bit of a thumbs down for that one. That was too much. Joe C says, I can't believe someone spent $67 on Jose Ramirez. He kept him for that price, Joe, which is craziness. If he would have just been drafted regularly in here, it would have been about $40. So he overpaid by $27 for him. Craziness. Here's another hometown hero, Kerry Carpenter. He's going to get way overbid, and he's already way overbid. $8, $9, he's probably going to be like $15. Who knows? Pre-draft value of $3. Merman, maybe he gets him for $9, but I know Travis likes him. Oh, he spent all his money on Josh Hader and didn't have enough for his boy Carpenter. Travis. Can you draft players that haven't been called up yet? If they're in the pool here, you can. I'm not sure if like who's in the pool that hasn't been drafted, but I think you can. Yeah. Duran, another elite closer. Not as big of a name though. So let's see what happens here. $12. I don't think people are going to go too high on him. I'm gonna throw a dollar bid and let's see what happens. I might be able to get him. Twin Terrors have a lot of money. I'm gonna go one more dollar because I do want an elite closer for less than $20. I'm not going anymore. Now it's too expensive. I didn't really want him for 15. I was hoping this would happen where two more people came above me or one, and everything's happening according to plan. Still plenty of closers left, and none of the closers I even wanted have came up. Suzuki, a guy who I have no interest in. He's another batting average guy, and I already told you I like to punt batting average. So I've and he also gets hurt a lot. Good player, solid player when he's in, and he can hit a home run, and he can do things. Good batting average, and he's going to get you 20 home runs. He's projected for 20 home runs, 70 RBIs. That's not a good number. So, I mean, it all depends. Like, look he's only at $6, $7. Okay, he's got to get up to the value. I'd be in if I could get some value on him, but I'm not going to pay 10. I'd have paid 8, and he's up to 10. Here we go, 12. So he's already like well above what I would pay. And remember what I was talking about earlier. People were kind of sleeping on offensive players and overpaying for pitching. So now there's some gaps in people's lineups. They need some outfielders. We've got 5 outfield slots to fill. So they're going to overpay for Suzuki, $14. 40% more than what they should have. Joe says our 14-team auction league has been going strong for 23 years. Wow. Yeah, ours, I don't know how long ours has been going, but it's probably around 20 years. Maybe not quite, but it's close. Trim says this is why you win every year. I don't win every year. There's some tough competition in here, man. There are several players who are really, really good and really know baseball. There's multiple people in here. I would say half of this league is really good. There's a couple people who are not going to pay too much attention. They'll get down early and not pay too much attention the rest of the year. There's a few that'll pay attention, but they're just going to lag behind because they don't know the sport good enough. And then there's about the top quarter of the league really knows their stuff. And then there's going to be, a few people in the middle. Michael King is elite. And I'm willing to get in on Michael King. I got him for 24 right now. I'm not paying any more than that, and he's already more, so I'm out. $25. I'm out. Kind of glad. I wanted him for like 22. They're up to 26 for Michael King. He tons of talent. I'm not going to fault you for a $26 Michael King, but a little overblown. I do like Michael King, though. Wonder where he is on my list. My top guys. He is the number 26 pitcher on my list here. So there's still a bunch of guys I have above him that haven't gone yet. Edwin Diaz. Let's see if the trend continues. People overpaying for relief pitching. He had a $17 value, pre-draft value. He's up to 20. I already told you I don't like paying more than 20, but I will pay 20. 21. I'll go 22, but that's as high as I'm going to go. And I hope I get him. Let me have him. Thank you. Woo! All the guys I want, I've gotten so far. That was my number one closer. That's who I wanted. My number one guy. It was either Clase or Diaz. Clase was, what did he go for? Like almost $30. Hader went for 29. Clase went for 24. So I got the lesser of the two, which is like exactly what I wanted to do. I'm really happy with that. My strategy last year was a little bit different on pitching, and it ended up working out really well for me because I don't think you're going to be able to get an elite closer off of the waivers. You can get a good closer. You can get a decent closer off the waivers. You can get a guy who will get you saves. And Bo is another guy who has been hyped up this year. So look at what's happening. This is one of the main things you need to know. If you I would recommend that you look at what all the experts are saying before the draft, but don't target those guys. If it's an auction draft like this, don't target those guys because look at what happened. Bo has a pre-draft value of $9, which is undervalued, granted, but he's already well overpriced at $19. Now I think he could end up being worth $20, $25 even. Like Top Gunners is up. He's got him for 20, which is fair, but man, it's way, way overvalued relative to his pre-draft. More than twice his pre-draft value. I think Bo's going to have a great year. Don't get me wrong. I love Bo. And I would have taken him if people would have slept on him. But I already have my shortstop filled, so I can't do that. I handcuffed myself with that Lindor play early. A little bit, but I don't care. Muck City, what's up, brother? I see ya. You got your draft on Tuesday? Oh, strap in, baby. Which individual player have you spent the most on? Lindor. Lindor for 37, but that was like... I'm trying to remember what the pre-draft value was. I forget already, but I don't even remember now. I think I got Lindor for less than his pre-draft value, which is, I just didn't want anybody to get him for too cheap. And then Alonso for 36. Those are Pete was my one guy I had to have. And Langford, like every guy on my team so far are guys that I researched well in advance, guys that I targeted based on scarcity, based on tiers, top tier talent, and category needs. Now here's Mike Trout. Let's see what happens here. I'll get in on Trout. Trout should be a $20 player. If I can get him for less than 20, I'll be happy. But I mean, come on, it's Mike Trout. I'll bid these guys up. I actually don't want them, and I'm glad. I just was going to bid them up. I would have taken him for, I don't know what, maybe 18. But his pre-draft value was $11, and he's already up to 23 because of the name. Now, Trout's another one of those guys that we were talking about earlier who could end up next year being like a $35 player. And they got him for 23, so he could be Rosser's Tornado's keeper next year if he performs. I hope he does. I wish Trout the best. But I don't have a ton of money to be messing around like that. He was a guy I had on my list here because he had a $10, $11 pre-draft value. So if I could have got him for around that price, I was willing. That was one guy I had circled. But he went for over twice that. So I'm not going to mess around at that price. Yeah, Bo's been raking this spring. Lindor, well worth it. Yep. Especially because the Mets offense is going to be better this year. They're going to crush. At least the top of their order is really good. Rafaela outfield and shortstop eligibility, pre-draft value of $1, but that multi-position eligibility means people are going to value him higher just because of his flexibility. He is not he's way over, dude, he's going to be batting ninth probably. Last year he batted ninth a lot. So an $8 player, no thanks for a guy who's batting ninth. He's not going to do anything for you. There's no way I'm paying that much for Rafaela. I'd get him for $1 maybe. I probably wouldn't target him at all. But I like Rafaela. He was a guy I was on last year for Rookie of the Year. But he was just batting too low in the lineup. Tristan Casas, another sleeper. Let's see what people do. First base, position of scarcity. I would imagine that he's going to... I'll get in on him if the price is right, but I'm not going to overpay for him. And we're there. So I'm not getting in. $10, $11, $12. He's a guy who can get you home runs in a great ballpark. And if you need first base, grab him, right? See, and that's what people are doing. They need first base. A lot of people need first baseman. Still, there's nobody elite left. This is one of the best guys left. Let's look at first base. Naylor is good, but there's not very many people left. There's nobody left. This is one of the last guys. And just like that, he's up to $20. That's why keeping track of position scarcity is so important. Knowing where there's going to be guys available that are just all kind of the same and they're all pretty good, and knowing where that talent level drops off significantly. Casas for $21. Way massive overpay. And Owen chimes in, people really need first base now. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Luis Robert. Here's a potential upside guy for $10. Pre-draft value of $10. He's a name that people know. He's got an injury history, though. But if he plays all his games, he's got MVP potential. But he plays for the worst team in the league. And he just got, $3, man. I would have bid on him. Wow. That was a steal. I would have paid, man. I should have bid on that one. Just wasn't thinking. I didn't want him. He's not on my list. But I should have bid $4 just to bid him up a little bit more. No, that's definitely a guy that is probably going to be Rosser's keeper for next year because he's always solid. You can't find a guy for $3 that good. That was the pick of the draft so far. David says, I have Mookie and Freeman as my keepers in my league. Jeremy says, I'm glad I haven't had any connection issues yet. Yeah, good for you. I'll throw a bid in on Helsley. I had him last year, and he was good, solid. However, Cardinals aren't going to be as good. They're not going to be very good this year, so he's probably not going to get very many saves. And he's already at his pre-draft value. I have no interest. I already have Diaz, so I'm good. Everybody from here on out, from a closing standpoint, is not going to be anywhere close. I'm not looking for anywhere close to an elite closer. I'm looking for a couple of good closers here, not an elite closer. And Helsley potentially overperformed. Like I said, he was on my team last year. He helped me win, but I drafted Helsley last year for like $8 maybe. So just the mental side of like, look at, he's up to $20. That means normally a $20 closer is like a top 2 or 3 closer. Usually there's just a couple of $20 closers and then it starts dropping little by little. Couple of like maybe a couple of $22 closers and then a 20 and then a 19, 18, it starts dropping. 17, 16, 15, 14. You start dropping by $1 each closer. And Helsley, in my mind, is like a $15 closer at most. So can't pay $21 for him. Bryce Miller, good pitcher. What's he up to? $18. Oh boy. I'm getting in. Last second snag maybe. Merman wants in. Tornado, see what happens. Stryker gets in on a guy and everybody's like, oh, he must be good. Unfortunately, I just typed in Bryce Miller and everything that popped up was the Union Tribune sports columnist that just passed away at age 56. Bryce Miller for 23. Not crazy. He's a $20 pitcher. You get the upside. Lou Bob gets dealt to a good offense at some point for $3. $3 you can't lose no matter what happens with Lou. But even if he gets hurt, fine. Doesn't even matter. For $3, who cares? That's the best pick maybe I've ever seen in this league. $3 Lou Bob. It's crazy. $20 Aaron Nola. He's solid across the board. He doesn't really win you strikeouts. That's the only thing. I've had Aaron Nola for a few years. Take him, but I'm not like committed to him. Yeah, and now he's going for more. It's fine. I didn't want him for 22. I want him for 20. So for 23, it's fine, but you're overpaying a little bit. A lot of overpaying on pitchers. It's crazy. What SPs are left? Dozens and dozens of them. Let's see. Look at them all. Like this whole page here are elite pitchers still. There's so many elite. Like, oh no. Who nominated him? Who nominated K? Should I bid on him? Look at what they think. He had 200 strikeouts last year. That's insane. They think he's going to still... The problem with K is he's prone to blow-ups because he's lefty. and his ERA is inflated big time. People are bidding on him. Wow, are people overpaying for pitchers? Thank God I didn't have to put a bid on him. I had to have him for like $5, but now he's all the way up to 12. He's 3 times the value, 3 times his pre-draft value. It's wild. Dirt cheap, I know. I think a bunch of people they saw that Luis Robert was nominated and they just went and started researching something else and they didn't even look up. And then that's basically what I was doing. That's what I did. Looks like Houghton Heroes is on auto pick. So he's not going to be bidding on anything. He'll be auto bid on some guys, but I'm interested to see what the auto draft does. Auto draft is bidding for Houghton's Heroes. He's going to bid up. He's going to bid up some guys just because he's a computer. I had Cal Raleigh last year on my team, but I got him for cheap. So $14 right now. He's up to 15. That's too much. I actually don't want him for 17. Oh, thank you. Woo. Thank you, Travis. He is great. I love him, but I don't like him for 18. He's one of the best catchers. Like, you have Cal on your team, he plays every single day, and that's the problem with catchers is most of them don't play every day. There are plenty of catchers left, plenty of cheap catchers available too, so my strategy now is just going to be to get a $1 catcher. How much did Witt go for? He was kept. Let's see. Witt was kept for $45. I gotta nominate somebody. Let's nominate James Wood. Let the bidding begin. I'm in on him. If the price is right. Let's see. Houghton's Heroes auto draft is going to bid him up to the pre-draft value at least. See? That's why I hate when the bot comes out. Because then now there's no deals left until all of his money goes bye-bye. James Wood was a guy I picked up for $1. I could have kept him this year. $16. He's up to 16. I could see him getting up to 20. I almost bid right there. Yep, here we go. 18. He's probably not going to go for too much more than that. I could see 18 being the price. Yep. 3, 2, 1. $18 James Wood. Reasonable. Overspent based on the pre-draft value by quite a bit once again. Chris says I did the grimiest MLB future. White Sox to win 60 games plus 350. DeGrom for $18 pre-draft value. Oh boy. He was on my team too. I could have had him for $1. I decided nah. Oh, you should have let him. Myrtle Beach Merman. You should have let him have him. Houghton's Heroes have him for 17. That would have taken his money down so he couldn't auto bid. Instead, DeGrom is a name everybody knows. And since his pre-draft value is so high, people have confidence that he's just going to be the same old DeGrom. I don't have that same confidence in him. There's no way I'm going to spend $20 on DeGrom, and he's already up to 22. Now, could he be? Yeah. If DeGrom is the DeGrom of old, sure, but I don't think he's going to get the innings either. They're going to be very careful with his innings this year, I think. What do you think, Wong? Are you in here? Wong would know. Let's turn to back says Cardinals will be fine in my opinion, just letting their own homegrown talent play. Central's wide open. Don't let my living in St. Louis lessen that stance. No, I like the inside info. It's very valuable information. You would know more than me about it. I just looked at their team and I was like, ugh. Your best player is Old Man Arenado. Now, one thing I got to be careful about from this point on is I need to spend some money. I got $111 left, which is there's 1, 2, 3. I mean, 4 or 5 guys with more money than me, but these two basically have the same amount as me. I'm pretty much where I want to be, actually. But I got to spend some money soon on somebody. I got a few guys in mind, but I'm gonna leave it open for value if there is any. Jeremy Pena getting way overbought. $4 pre-draft value. He's up to 13. People are going crazy all of a sudden. This is exactly what I told you was going to happen. They're going to start overspending when we get into that $10 to $15 range. And overspending $13 on Pena. Only according to what the experts value them at. I think Pena could, he could definitely have a decent year. But what's he going to win you? Like, what categories is he going to win you? Or is he just a solid, like, you're spending $13 on a guy who's just like you can plug him in every day and he's going to be solid, in my opinion. Bautista. The trend continues with people overpaying for relievers, including myself. Oh yeah, is he going to get to 20? I think he's a $20 pitcher, but he's coming off an injury, so I'm not going to overspend on Bautista. I'm glad he's up to 20 though, because that's too much for Bautista with the risk that's included. But assuming he plays, see, from here on out, there's a lot of assumptions that go into all these picks. Assuming everything goes right, there's a lot of that going on. Now, Logan Webb is a really good pitcher, but his strikeout numbers aren't elite. That's the one problem. Like, he's going to give you ERA, whip, and probably a fair amount of wins, but he's not going to win you strikeouts. But he's going to be there. He's gonna pitch a lot of innings. And I'm in on him. If I can get him for, over $20. I don't really like that a whole lot. Foul ball, twin terror. And I'm looking to see how much money these guys have left. They're bidding on it, right? Can they afford to spend a lot of money? $23 overpaying for pitching once again. I'd rather overpay for a guy who can get you a strikeout in an inning. Logan Webb has been historically a guy who doesn't get you quite a strikeout in an inning. And if you're going to pay good money for a pitcher, he better be able to get you a strikeout in an inning. Cardinals have basically the same thing as last year except Maton. Well, what about Goldie? No Goldie either. Regardless of if you think he's washed, he was still a big part of that team. Still a guy that opposing teams had to think about, plan for, leadership, RBIs, batting in the heart of the order. Contreras, one of the last remaining elite catchers. $15. There's no way I'm spending that much on a catcher at this point. Like I said, I'm just going to get a $1 catcher. Unless like a really good one goes for cheap or something. Like I'm going to leave that open for whatever happens. Let's look at all the pitchers remaining. There's tons of pitchers still. Look at them all. I'd take any of these guys. The trend continues. People overpaying for pitching. $21 for Max Fried. Whew. I didn't want to spend 21 on Fried, but 22. All the pitchers, all the good pitchers are going for like $22. Fried's a really good pitcher. Pitching in a bad ballpark for pitching, though. That's the only thing. And he's a lefty, so I don't really... I mean, Fried's elite. Not much more to say about him. Spencer Steer, first base, outfield, multiple position eligibility, $5 pre-draft value. He's already, looks like he's going to go for about twice that. Yeah. Twice his pre-draft value, and everybody's overpaying now. Underpaid at the beginning means you're overpaying in the middle. And at the end, there's going to be a lot of $1 players that are going for like $5-6, I would guess. And what's the money situation looking like for everybody? I've got $111 left. Now I'm at the point where I'm a little more than most people. I have a little more than most people, which makes me even happier about the fact that I spent early on some guys. Vientos, good player. If I didn't already have 2 Mets on my team, I would consider taking him. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want too many of the same team on my roster, because I'm looking towards the end of the season. I already have Diaz too. So I don't want too many guys just because of the schedule at the end of the year. If something happens weird where I don't know everybody's schedule at the end of the year, but I don't want to be locked in. Maybe they're slumping at that time. I'm playing for a championship or bust. I don't care what happens until the last 4 weeks of the season, basically. And I don't want to be too committed to one team, have too many guys from one team on my roster. I want to be spread pretty evenly. Same as football. You don't want too many guys, fantasy football players from the same team. Shea's a solid catcher at this point. Yeah, but he was kept. So he's not even available. Got Imanaga up right now. Holton's Heroes. Just jumping on that. Looks like he's going to get it up. We got to get it up to the pre-draft value. Holton's Heroes, does he not have any more money left to spend? Oh, thank God. Okay, Imanaga was a guy that I wanted on my team. That's good. I got my ace. So I'm happy I could get an ace for undervalue. I actually got an undervalued starting pitcher. No way. That's the first one. And that's the guy I wanted too. Wow. No way. Now I'm like, is he hurt? What the heck? Why'd no one want Imanaga? Thank you. Thanks, boys. Josh Naylor, the last elite-ish first baseman. How much are people going to pay for him? Got to get that first baseman taken care of. $15, $16, pre-draft value of $13. If you want your first baseman, this is the last guy. Yes, there we go. 17. He's going to get up to 20. He should. Or else you're not going to have anybody. This is the last guy that can get you 20 to 30 home runs and 100 RBIs from the first base position. Nice. Jackson Jobe, $0 pre-draft value. What do you think he's going to get to? We all live in Michigan. We all know Jackson Jobe. A little bit of a risk here. People don't care. They're going to pay for him. Let's see. Pitchers have been going for well over value. What are they willing to spend? We got $9. How about 10? How about 11? Will he get to 15? There's 12. Let me have him for 12. Let me have him for 12. Yes. Oh, Okay. I know I just overpaid by an infinite amount, but he is locked in. He's going to be on the opening day roster as our starting out as like the number 5 pitcher. But like I was talking about with Jack earlier, I would have taken Jack, and I need a starting pitcher, and Job's got upside. He's got some of the filthiest stuff in the league. His spin rate is maybe the best in the league. And he's got a fresh young arm. He doesn't have years of pitching behind him too. So I needed to spend some money. I needed another pitcher. Took a little bit of a gamble, overpaid for him. I was willing to go up to 15. You got Zach Wheeler for less. Yeah, I liked Wheeler. I would have been in on Wheeler. I was in on Wheeler. Looks like now we might be getting to a point where people are going to back off the gas a little bit. Maybe. Connor Wong as your starting catcher. You can have him. Rosser's Tornado. He's all yours. $1 Connor. Oh, a $3 Connor Wong. Stopped paying attention. I really like where I'm at right now, where I can just do anything. Extremely flexible, filled the positions of need. Left a couple spots open. I still have, I can draft anybody right here. Catcher, third, first, a utility slot, outfield, pitcher, anything. So I'm not locked in. I don't have a need where I have to overpay. I don't have to overpay for anything from here on out. Now, George Kirby, injured. Made 20 throws from 60 feet. So he might go for undervalued. If I can get him for really cheap, I might grab him as a guy who I'm going to throw a bid in here. I don't want to spend too much, but I can wait on Kirby to get back. 13, I'm going 14. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want him to go for too cheap. I'm not going to go any more than that, though. 15, yeah. See, people are willing to spend on him now. He was clear to begin a throwing program. Yeah, see, I'm not going to spend too much on Kirby just because I don't know. I don't like it when you have an elbow problem as a pitcher and you can't even, elbow inflammation, you got to get a needle before the season starts. I would have grabbed him for like, $10 or something just as a gamble, because if he's right, he's an ace. Gossman, the gas can, Kevin Gas Can. He can get you strikeouts, but he's a little volatile. He's got an $8 pre-draft value. Because Houghton's Heroes is auto, he's going to bump him up to where he needs to be. So there's not going to be any value for Gossman, probably. Let's see what happens, though. $8. He's up to 9. I'll go 10 on him. There we go. Okay, now I feel good. Because at times Gossman has been elite, but he goes through these streaks. He's a real streaky player. I'm not going any more than that. But they've got a good team. He's in line to get some wins. He usually gets enough innings to where, he can go 6 innings, get you a win, get you some strikeouts too. He has games where he could win you a week, having one good outing, get you like 12 Ks or something. Stephen Kwan, guy I'm not interested in at all. He's elite at batting average, and that's it. Now he should score some runs, but I don't pay for guys that are just really good at batting average. Now, if you need an outfielder, it's $6. Okay, now he's a little bit over. Let's see if he gets to $10 based on the name recognition and position in the order. Yeah, he's already over $10. Don't forget to hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm having a good time. Let me know in the comment section, in the chat, who's a guy that you're targeting in your draft, or who are you thinking about that you can't live without? Look at Quan is up to $17. Way overspent on Quan. Whoever gets him at this point now is going to handicap themselves because, man. Oof. That is a brutal one. $19 for Quan. Yowzers. He's one of those guys who's a much better real life player than fantasy player. Like, he's a really amazing real life player. But he doesn't get you the stats that you need. Matt Chapman, getting a little long in the tooth. Known more for his defense. Not batting in a hitter's park. Pretty low batting average too. I'm going to bump this up. If I can get him for 13, I'll take him because I need a third baseman, but I'm not going any higher. I'll take it. Now I got my third base slot filled, and that was the last guy on my third base tier. He was one spot below. So there are a handful of guys: Chapman, Bregman, Caminero, Vientos, Berger, and Bohm, who are all the same price in the third base tier. So I drew a line in between Alex Bregman and Matt Chapman as where I wanted to go. I really wanted Bregman, but he went for way more. So I'll take Matt Chapman because that's just like an everyday guy, third base. He's going to provide. He's batting in the right spot. I didn't want to spend more than that, but I'll take it. And I've got $70 left. That's right where I want to be. I don't have too much. I don't have too little. I can still continue in the draft and make plays on all kinds of different things. Hunter Green for $15. Totally missed that. Don't know how that happened, but. And Tyler Glasnow, another guy, elite upside, always injured. Always injured, but I don't know. I'm going to just see where this goes. I'll put a $13 bid on him. I don't want to spend more than that. But, oh, dang. 14. I think I'm out on Glasnow. I just don't trust it. No, he could win you. He's a guy that could win you your league, but there's a lot of question marks there with his health. Can he finally get it done? If you go and look at his baseball reference page, he's got a career 9.1 WAR, and he is 31. He's going to be 32 years old this year. Senga's another guy who is coming off an injury, but he's really good. He's got a lot of upside when he plays. And that's another Matt. $1 pre-draft value. I've had Senga on my team before, and when he pitches, he's really good, and he's on a really good team. I'll throw a bid in there. Up to 8. I think he could be a $10 player. But $10. Ooh, I didn't get in. Okay, $10. Yeah, I'm not going over 10. That was kind of the line for me, and even that was overdoing it. You've been getting Matt Shaw. Yeah, that's like an end of the draft thing for $1, maybe. Because we still don't even know if he's going to make opening day roster. But even if he doesn't, you know, if you draft him for, like, I don't think he's going to go for $1. I think there's going to be a few people who have him in their queue. They're just waiting. We got 2 guys auto drafting now. So every guy is pretty much going to get up to their pre-draft value. I need another elite closer, another good closer, and okay. Yeah, I was in for like 14 or lower. He's up to 16, which is his pre-draft value, and now he's up to 17. Top Gunners likes him. It's one of the best players. Top Gunners knows he's an elite closer. He's going to get him for 18. Not a big name, but 18 is a lot. Syndrome, what's up? You targeted Lawbutt. Stephen Kwan for 19. I know, Jeremy. You're targeting Christian Walker. Isaac Paredes. $4 pre-draft value. It's a third baseman. I already got my third baseman, so I don't need one. But I do have the 1st/3rd slot open. I kind of want to just leave that wide open for picking up a guy off the waivers this year. So I'm not in on Isaac. JT says, Stryker, I have Yamamoto, Imanaga, Sasaki, Senga, and Otani. It's the year of the Japanese pitcher. Got a lot of good pitchers there. Japanese pitchers are good. There's a lot of good ones in the league. And I think people undervalue them just because I think normies undervalue them because they don't know. They see a foreign name and they just go, oh, it's one of those foreign pitchers. But we know. Yeah, Matt Shaw. I was thinking Cam Smith. I'm starting to lose my voice. I've been doing a lot of talking, and this is going to be like 3 hours straight of talking. Made a lot of videos the last few days, and I got a lot more coming. A lot of content coming your way. Tomorrow's a really special video, so if you haven't rang the notification bell on the channel, you got to do that because the video I'm coming out with tomorrow is really fun and sweet. Some awesome... I'm not even going to tell anything about it. Something a little different. Something you've probably never seen before. Christian Yelich went for $12. That is also risky. Very risky. Because Yelich, she's had that backiotomy problems for so long, past his prime. I'm going to make you pay for him, Rosser. You're going to have to pay for Iglesias. Otherwise, he's mine. There you go. You had to pay 20. That's the key price. You can have him for 20. That's the going rate for an elite closer, and he's one of the best. So, if I could have got him for less than... I had Iglesias as one of the guys I was targeting. Didn't get him. I'm okay with it. I already have Diaz. There will be more closers that are available down the road. There's Bailey Ober. A lot of people have been talking about Bailey Ober. Sneaky stud type potential. And it looks like some people are on him. He's already up to his pre-draft value. Let's see what happens. I don't think, people don't have a ton of money to spend. He's $1 over his pre-draft value. But he's one of those names that people have been talking about going into the season. $15, already up to 15. Uncle Fester says Topps Tribute goes live at noon. JT says, facts, load up on offense. Value grab starters and closers are a crapshoot. Yeah, they are. Closers are a crapshoot, but usually there's a couple of them like the elite of the elite are usually pretty good, but there's almost every year, there's a couple of closers that people pay like $20 for, like the top closers that end up getting hurt or just not being good and even losing their job. Who's the closer for San Francisco that was a absolute stud, and then last year he stunk? His name escapes me right now, but that's a good example. And then closers come out of nowhere. Like there's probably 10 teams that are going to be time sharing the closer spot, so you can always grab one of those guys that ends up taking the job and grabbing a hold of it. Yeah, that's who I was thinking about, their average Arizonian. It's tough on a player like that to draft him. I don't know. Like if you can get him for real cheap, that's cool. But to spend a lot of money on a guy with just like, you have no idea. He could come up and then, because a lot of people have been talking about him. He's flying under the radar, or he's not flying under the radar from an MLB standpoint and a fantasy standpoint. So you're going to have to pay for him. Here's a guy, Xander Bogaerts, who doesn't do a whole lot anymore at this point in his career. Pre-draft value of $3. I have no interest, but he's second base and shortstop eligible. So people are, he's already up to like almost $20, and that's way overspent. Way overspent on Xander. He's never really been a guy who does much more than batting average, and he's just getting older by the year and doing less and less. And batting lower and lower in the lineup too. So that's the worst pick of the draft so far, in my opinion. $18 Xander Bogaerts. Duvall, thank you, Owen. Yeah, Duvall. All right, where's everybody at from a amount of money left to spend standpoint? I've got a lot of money to spend. I can do anything I want. I'm right about halfway, which is what I want to be. A few guys broke the bank. A few guys have right around what I have left. One guy has a little bit more. Look at LD. He started out hot and hasn't done anything since. He's got tons of spots to fill. LD, you got to get back in the game. Willie Adames for $17. Woo! Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money for Adames. 17. Whoo! But I guess if you need a shortstop and you look at the options that are left, is getting down there. At least he's a guy who can get you home runs. One of the last guys at the shortstop position that can actually get you some home runs. Then we got Andros Munoz here. Putting a bid in on him. Rosser's twin terror likes to bid me up. Not today. $18. He's a $20 closer. One more. What do you got? You already got an elite one. I'll spend $20. He's a $20 closer. You can have him for $21 if you want him. But you don't. But I do. That's like one of the last guys I have as one of my must-haves. I had either Iglesias or Munoz, and I spent a lot on him. I overspent on him, but I think he can be one of the best closers in the league. And now I don't need any more closers. I really don't need anything else. The last thing I wanted was one more elite closer, and then I'm going to just fill in. I want to get one more scrub closer, like a question guy, maybe like a $5 closer or something. And the plan from here on out is to fill in on like low dollar players, down to $50. Don't have that much money left. Can't spend a lot of money on anything at this point. But I wanted to make sure that that I put a wrench in Rosser's plan more than anything else. So if you look at the remaining closers, you've got Robert Suarez, who's an elite closer. He's the best one left by far. Hoffman's really good too. Tanner Scott, there's a potential timeshare situation. There's question marks from here on out. After Robert Suarez, question marks about all these closers. So I think Munoz was the last guy who's like elite, could be the best closer by the end of the year. And I was willing to go to 20 for him, but not 21. Luis Garcia, second baseman. No thanks. No thanks. Especially not for $10. This was a guy you could have got off the waivers last year. It's a different year. He had 18 home runs, batted 282, 70 RBIs. Projected to get much lower than that this year. LD, getting a little desperate. Ooh. Filled his utility spot with Luis Garcia for $10. It's not what you want to do, buddy. What about Stryker coming off an injury? Anybody interested in Stryker coming off an injury? Looks like it. About time people started bidding. I'm not going to let you have Stryker for less than $16. Top Gunners, not going to let you have them. I'll spend the rest of my bankroll on Stryker. Let me have them. Oh, I'm not in for 18 though. Oh, all right. I'm glad I didn't get him for 17. I didn't really want him. He was an $11 pre-draft value. There's some question marks there as well, but he is a guy that if he pitches the whole year and he's fine, he's a $25 to $30 pitcher. $30 pitcher, maybe even more. He could be the best pitcher by the end of the year. He could win a Cy Young. He's that type of guy. You definitely want at least 2 legit save guys for sure. Yeah, that's every year I go with 1 super elite and then 1 good, like really good, and then like 1 mid-grade one. And last year I changed that up a little bit. I had 1 super elite, and then I got lucky with one of my like $10 closers, and then I had another mid-range one that worked out for me, and that worked so well. I love Freddie Peralta. I'll take him for 15. If I can get him for 15, okay, I'm out. 15 seems like a little too much actually, but I would have taken him and I would have been okay with it. Owen says we gotta let Otto get out of money. Yeah, I know, but people are overspending, so it doesn't even matter. We gotta nominate a guy who nobody wants. Like, nominate Royce Lewis and let Houghton take him for 11. But someone's gonna have to bid him up to 11. Maybe Myrtle Beach Mermen and Houghton can fight over Royce Lewis, injured Royce Lewis, or McClanahan. Somebody injured. Grayson Rodriguez, maybe. $2, $0 Nolan Gorman. I've dabbled with Nolan Gorman a little bit. His batting average is just so low, and he doesn't play every day. That's the problem with Nolan Gorman. So he was a guy who was on the waivers all of last year, pretty much. I'm not interested at all. But there is upside there. Former top pick. There's definitely upside there if he can turn it around. I just don't know where he's going to be batting in the lineup. It's good to look at a thing like that. Let's look at it. I'll find out for you. Nolan Gorman. I mean, he was batting he was like leading off sometimes last year, if I remember correctly. But he would only play every so often. He wouldn't play against lefties, and I don't want a guy who's not going to play every day on my team. I would rather have a guy who's not as good but plays every day. Yeah, they got Nolan Gorman 1, 2, 3, 4 batting 5th. So a guy who, and he's in spring training, Nolan Gorman's batting 189 with a 321 slug. Looks like he's not making any improvements. Maybe Gorman just is who he is. Here's Matt Shaw. Nobody's sleeping on Matt Shaw. Pre-draft value of $5. He's already up to 10. Looks like Top Gunners knows what's up. So does Deadhead. See, these are the two guys who know two of the best players, Top Gunners and Deadheads, and those are the guys bidding on Matt Shaw. So that tells you a little something about the league in general and the knowledge of some sleeper type players. $13. Multi-position eligibility. Surprised Jeremy didn't grab him. That was your guy, Jeremy. Why'd you let him go? Jason Dominguez, pre-draft value of $5. Question marks all over him. Can he get it done? They've got him 16 home runs, 249 average, and 49 RBIs as a projection. That is not very good. 2024 stats are pretty putrid. I'm gonna put some bids in on them though. He's already up to $10, so I'm good. But he's a league winner type if he ends up being really, really good. I'm not sure enough. I was hoping I could get him for like $8, but 10 just seems like a little bit too much. I can't invest that much at this point. I have too many spots to fill in my lineup still. And Lawrence Butler, we've talked about him over and over. He's been hyped up a lot this year. So he's going to go for well over his pre-draft value of $12. He's already up to 14. Everybody knows about Lawrence Butler. He's got 20/20 upside, maybe even more. 3 home runs multiple times last year in a single game. He's already up to 17. Houghton's Heroes is back, unless he pre-drafted. $17 Lawrence Butler. Looks like Houghton came back, grabbed Lawrence Butler because he probably read some things about him. But he's a good player. He's solid. I wouldn't spend 17 on him probably. I think he's more of a $12 type of player. But he's got potential to be next year a $25 player if everything works out right. And here's McClanahan. Deadhead's nominated him probably so that we could get some of these auto draft values out. $5 for McClanahan. I don't know what the timetable is for McClanahan, but that's not too bad if he comes back. Jason Foley of the Tigers. Conrad Joe is probably hoping that he gets bid up. Let's see if anybody fights over a Tiger. Jeremy tried to grab Shaw. I was out at 12, yeah. One of the main things I was talking about with my strategy is the studs and scrubs strategy. You got to pay attention throughout the whole year for it to work. Otherwise, you're in trouble. But if you're not going to be like super on top of it every day, then you want to have a more balanced approach to your lineup construction. Royce Lewis, the oft-injured Royce Lewis, injured again to start the season with another hammy. I don't know if people know about that. They probably don't know about it. Even though it has a big O next to his name. $9, so it's under draft value. That's fair, I guess. Because if he's healthy, he can really do a lot for your team, but I don't want to spend that much on a guy who knows when he's going to be back, when he's going to be healthy, when he's going to get hurt again. Nick Castellanos doesn't do a whole lot for you, especially if he's batting like 6th. I'm going to look up the Phillies, see where Castellanos has been batting in the lineup, but he's a guy I don't want. He's always been kind of a batting average guy too, like we talked about. I'm not in on batting average guys. But he's a little streaky. He can have some good games. Yeah, he's batting way low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have Castellanos batting 7th. No way am I in on that. And he's batting 154 this preseason. He's doing really poor. I don't like that at all. $12. I don't like that at all. Is it my turn to nominate a player? How about Tanner Scott? Dodgers closer, Tanner Scott. See if the trend continues with people overpaying for relief pitching. We'll see if Rosser's Tornado gets in on this. Certainly wanted my closer. Looks like they're not interested in Scott for some reason, but when I'm not bidding, they're out. Deadheads, $9, $10. One of the last elite type closers left. Seems like a pretty good price. $10. Are they going to let him have him for 10? Yep. Looks like the run on closers is over. But we've got one more, Robert Suarez. After Suarez, there's a big drop. I'm thinking Suarez should go for about $15 here. Anything less than that would be a good deal. Disrespect to Arise. No, he just doesn't fill. We're playing in a categories league, so I don't value batting average at all. It's nice, like, if you just have if you don't think about batting average, sometimes it'll just work out for you. You can win the category still week to week, even if you have like a middling batting average type of team. But since I was targeting Pete Alonso too, he's lower on the batting average. But I've got guys that can make up for it. Like Matt Chapman and Pete Alonso are low batting average guys, and Simeon to an extent. So I value home runs more than batting average. And if you do that, like, it's tough to have a team that's good on home runs and also batting average. You kind of got to overpay. If you want good batting average and home runs, you really got to overpay. Up next, Gleyber Torres, second baseman. Oh, Jack, are you in on Gleyber? $2 Gleyber, second baseman. Going from playing for the Yankees to the Tigers, that's a big stadium shift right there. One that I do not wish to get involved with. I already have an elite second baseman. I'm good. I want nothing to do with Gleyber. It's funny, they're even projecting him to get more home runs. Last year he had 15 home runs, a .257 batting average. Some reason they think he's going to go from Yankee Stadium to Comerica, and he's going to get more home runs and a better batting average and more RBIs on a worse team. I don't know about that. $9, $10. Gleyber's up to $10 pre-draft value of $1. Will Urias ever be back in the league? I don't know. Oh, Bauer or Urias? Urias is probably done. And Bauer's been blacklisted, so Travis wanted a hometown guy. And we got a bunch of starting pitchers coming up here. Plenty of good ones left. If there's any value on a starting pitcher, I'll get in on it. Short strokes. Doesn't have much money left. He's not going to be able to go anymore on this guy, I don't think. Let's see. Short strokes. You can have them. And now you don't have any money left. $20 left, and you got a bunch of spots to fill. A lot of guys the same range. $9 pitchers. They're all in the glob. They're all about the same. Justin Steele had some injury problems last year. LD needs a lot of guys. I'll go up to 10, see if he goes to 11, make him spend a little more money. But if not, I'll take him. Oh, you're going to go up to 11? You spend the last of your money. I really like Justin Steele. I'll go 12, but no more. Cubs pitchers. I'm going Cubs pitching. Good. Justin Steele, in my opinion, has got elite upside. Hopefully he can stay healthy. I needed to get another starting pitcher. I've got my studs are Imanaga. I've got a potential stud in Jackson Jobe, and now I've got Justin Steele. So that's all I wanted was 3 good pitchers, 2 elite closers, and I got $38 left. I don't have much money to spend. This is exactly where I wanted to be. A lot of $1 slots to fill, and that's exactly where I wanted to be. Fill the team out throughout the year. A lot of waiver wire action. I'll be able to pick up plenty of guys from this point on that have a little bit of value. There's a button somewhere where I can change this to how much we have left to spend. I don't know how to do that though. Budgets. Here we go. Remaining budget. Here's a ranking. So I'm right here. I'm on the bottom. That's right where I wanted to be. LD started spending all his money at the top, and now he's got tons of money left. Oh, maximum offer. That's what I wanted to see. And it's pretty much the same. So the most I can bid is $25 on any one player because of how many slots I need to fill still. Top Gunners has a lot of money left. Let's look at Top Gunners team. He's watching. Give you a little analysis. Got one of those elite first baseman and third baseman. So we were on the same page. Wanted to grab... I didn't get my elite third baseman. I got right under an elite third baseman. He's got an elite shortstop, an elite second/shortstop, an elite outfielder, and 1 elite pitcher. So Top Gunners is going to have to spend some money on pitching. So that means I'm going to have to spend some money bidding you up on pitching. Brandon Nimmo. I didn't want to get any more Mets. But Nimmo is a guy I had circled because he's so cheap. It's one of those, I was hoping to get him for like $1. Boom. Ooh, I almost got one last $7 snipe in on you, Jack. Make you pay $8 for him. Dylan Cruz, we all know. He's got a lot of upside. I don't know if he's going to realize it, though. He's on a pretty bad team, but they've got 3 good players at the top of the lineup. Just not sure what Dylan Cruz is capable of. I think he's capable of being he could be a $20 player next year, or he could be a $5 player. But he's got upside. Elite prospect. A lot of upside. It's not too bad for $13, but that was another guy I could have kept. He was on my team. I could have kept him for $1. Real Muto, that's some name recognition, and a lot of people need catchers still, I would imagine. So I would think Real Muto would get bid up a little bit, but I mean, I do need a catcher. I'll throw a $4 bid on him. Merman went up to 5, 6. I wouldn't be mad if I had Real Muto, but I don't really want him for that price. How old is he anyway? Catchers don't age well. Ooh, he's 34. That's a kind of a key age for catchers to really take a dive. We got Hunter Brown. Something tells me Top Gunners is going to be in on Hunter Brown. Let's see. Yep. I'm going to bid him up. Come on, you're not going to get him that cheap. There you go. There we go. Let's let the bidding commence. I don't want him. Because everybody's talking about him, so everybody's talking Hunter Brown. He's going to have a good season, and we'll see. He's got a lot of upside, but I don't really want to spend $15 on Hunter Brown. I'd rather have Justin Steele for 12 than Hunter Brown for 15. Nico went for $1. I must have missed that. Oh man, that just slid in there. I didn't even notice. Yeah, that's a good price. I would have taken Nico for $1 for sure. Something tells me Alcantara is going to go for about $15 too. Give me him for 7. Oh, yes. Ooh. That might end up being the steal of the draft, or one of them, besides Lubob. Alcantara for 7. That's a guy who can be an ace. Good. Now I don't need any more pitchers. I've got a bunch of pitching slots open, but that's exactly how I want it. Kristen Campbell, multi-position eligibility. He'll probably get bid up. Elite prospect. Everybody's been talking about him. Let's see what happens. Pre-draft value is $0. I'm going to bid up one more time, hoping that someone goes over the top of my 7. But I will take him because I like the multi-position eligibility, and now I don't want him anymore. Good. I didn't want to spend that much on him because I really don't know what to expect. There's upside, but that's kind of a lot to spend on a guy who I'm still not sure if he's going to make opening day. Or where he's going to bat in the lineup. Red Sox to include Campbell on the opening day roster 2 hours ago. Okay. But where is he going to be batting? Here's Ian Happ. Ian Happ's solid. Do you prefer a bid over a snake draft? Yeah, auction draft is way funner. I love auction drafts. It allows you to do so much. You can have any strategy you want. You can get any player you want. I do need one more outfielder. But you can have him. You can have him for 11. I kind of wanted him at 8. Didn't really even want him at 10, but I would have taken him. Jeff Hoffman, another closer. Stryker after dark. Hoffman's good. Oops. There we go. Take one more elite closer. Last one left. Let's see. Yeah, it goes to... Oh, thank God. Thanks, Jack. I accidentally hit that button. Thank you. That would have been a big mistake. Big mistake on my part. He'll be good for you, Jack. I just don't need another closer. Already spent a lot on closers. Got 2 ultra elite closers. Diaz and Munoz. Like, these guys are going to carry. They're going to carry. Aroldis Chapman. Is he even their closer? Let's see. Chapman's been like a setup man for quite a while. Says he's the in-house favorite, which means that it's up in the air a little bit still. He's been competing. The 37-year-old Chapman has been competing with Liam Hendricks and Justin Slayton for the role in spring training, so he's not even guaranteed their closer. Carpenter or Burleson would be nice. Carpenter's gone. He got eaten up because we're all in Michigan, so Carpenter is a hometown guy who everybody knows about, and they're not going to let it slide. Looks like Campbell's going to be batting 7th. Yeah, I don't have any interest in somebody batting 7th on my team, really. Problem with Randy is the ballpark, but I need an outfielder, and I would love to have Randy. Yes. Woo. I love that. Always been a Randy fan. And for $7, I think he has a bounce back year. Let's look at Randy. I'm glad I didn't miss out on that one because I needed one more outfielder that I was going to pay for. Randy, he's still in his prime. 29 years old. Actually, he just turned 30. Just turned 30, so technically he's still in his prime. I like Joe Ryan, too. I'll take Joe Ryan. Love Joe Ryan. He was on my team last year, and he was a saving grace. Ooh, love this. Love it. People sleep on Joe Ryan. I think he gets, like, negative publicity for some reason, but I love him. I love these last 2 picks, man. Wow, my pitching staff has really come around. I got 2 huge upside plays in Alcantara and Jackson Jobe. I got a banger in Imanaga, in my opinion, for $16. I mean, he's not an elite, but I think he's an ace. And Justin Steele, both of these guys can be aces. And Joe Ryan as well. And Alcantara can be the best pitcher in the league. I love where my team's at, man. This is crazy. But Randy, back to Randy. Batting average. Remember I've been talking about punting batting average? Randy's perfect for that strategy. Last year was probably the worst year of his career. Let's see. Maybe not the worst. But the worst from a home run standpoint. Oh, he had 2 teams last year. Hold on, let's see. 2 teams. Oh, yeah, he had 2. Okay, so between his 2 teams, he had 20 home runs, 60 RBIs. That RBI number should be higher. I have at least 70. I think 75 RBIs. He stole 20 bases. He hit 20 home runs, but he batted .219. I don't care about his batting average. That's a perfect fit for my team. Garrett Mitchell, I love Garrett Mitchell. Love him. I'm not... See, I can't bid anymore. I'm down to $14, which is fine, but we can just talk about all these players now. I think Garrett Mitchell's got a lot of upside on that team. He's going to be batting in a good spot in the order, too. And people are not sleeping on him. He had a pre-draft value of $0. He's up to 8 already. And that's probably more than I would be willing to spend on Garrett Mitchell. But I'm willing to... Let's look at it. Let's look up his preseason stats real quick. I'll put it up on the screen. Just basically the Brewers in general they're in a great ballpark. They've got a good offense around them. See if I can find a game he played in recently. Here we go. I'm going to show you this. Okay, so the order's looking like this. Terang, Churio, although I've seen Churio lead off quite a bit. But Terang, Churio, that might be a situational lefty-righty situation. And then Yelich, 3. Contreras, 4. Garrett Mitchell, 5. That's a nice spot for RBIs for Garrett Mitchell. And then Rhys Hoskins batting behind him is good protection. I like Rhys Hoskins. I like a lot of Brewers this year, but I don't have any of them on my team, unfortunately. Lively gifting 5 memberships. That is awesome of you. I appreciate that, man. Check out the chat. If you're in the chat, you might have just got a free gifted membership from Lively. Welcome all the new members. You are knighted hitter. And any of my friends watching this right now, if you are not a member of the channel for $1.99, come on. Come on. Randy is butt. Not for me. He fits my team perfectly. End of the draft. We're approaching the end of the draft. I've had Randy on my team last year. I mean, you saw here. Let's look at the numbers. Who are you going to get that can get you 2020 at this point in the draft? Randy was a 2020 guy last year, and that was one of his worst seasons, and he's still in his prime. I'm betting that he has a better season than last year. Or at least right around there. Look at every year. 2020. He's a 2020 plus guy every single year. He just has a low batting average. He had a low batting average this year. He's probably going to return to his 250 batting average. And if he gives me 2020 and bats 250 with nearly 100 runs scored for, what'd I spend? $8? $7? Dude, 2020 guys are going for like $20. I know all about Randy. I love Randy. I know all about his game. I've been on Randy since he was a rookie. I'm not saying he's an all like the best. I'm just saying for what I paid for him at this point in the draft, I couldn't ask for anything more. Let's look at the remaining outfielders. There's Josh Young at third base. I mean, come on, boys. Like, that's a good... Yeah, get in on that. Here you go, Jack. That's a good pick for $5-6. Yeah, you're going to have to... I can't believe he's a $0 pre-draft player. But people are running out of money. Most people have almost no money left to spend because you got a lot of positions left. But back to Randy, like, okay, outfielders, who's left? 2020 guys, who's left? Nobody. George Springer? Like, oh, I mean, maybe, but Springer looks washed. But nobody's projected 2020. Best case scenario, you get a guy like Colton Cowser or Taylor Ward that can get you some home runs at least. Tyler O'Neill, like these guys can get you at least some home runs. Pete Crow's had a good spring, so potentially he could get you 2020. But there's a lot of, like, Randy's proven it. Multiple years, he's proven what he is. We know what Randy is. We don't really know what Pete Crow Armstrong is. He could bust out. He did not look good in the batter's box last year. But he's made some adjustments. So, you know, this is a bunch of question marks and maybes from this point on. Profar there's guys left for sure, but I mean, Cedric, if he leads off, he can get you 20-20, maybe. But look at that, like a lot of low batting averages. Lane Thomas, not going to get you the 20 home runs. Could get you 20 steals though. Tommy Edman, potentially, but he's going to be batting real low in the lineup. And the thing about Randy is he bats high in the order. So he's going to get a lot of plate appearances too. I don't know where he's batting this year. Let's see. Where they got Randy. They got Randy batting third. I love that. That's so good. And Randy's having a monster spring, by the way. He's batting .350 with a .556 slug. Look at this. Like, this is what their order is going to be likely, or close to this. It's going to be Julio leading off. Cal Raleigh. I don't think Cal's going to be batting second. So this is going to be a little bit different. You know, ideally, you don't have Cal Raleigh batting second. He's like a 3 or 4 hitter. But if this is it, and this looks like it because there's no guys subbing in, so this looks like close to what they're going to be running out there. Julio, Cal, Randy, Raleigh, Polanco, Rowdy, Crawford, and then some question marks. Perfect. Love it. Here's Pete Crow Armstrong. Lots of upside here, and look what they're paying. $8 for Pete Crow Armstrong. You paying for upside, and that's where we're at. Nobody can afford to really go too crazy on any player, but Pete Crow Armstrong has maybe more upside than Randy, but at the same time, we're just like wishing. We're just hoping Pete Crow is going to be good based on what he's done in spring training. If Pete Crow Armstrong did what he did last year in spring training this year, he would be a waiver guy. He'd be a waiver wire guy. And also, where is Pete Crow Armstrong going to be batting? They have him leading off right here, but I don't think this is going to be... I mean, let's look at this. Is it going to be Pete Crow, Nico, Justin Turner, Amaya? No, there's other guys they're going to be worked into this. Let's see if we can find a better example. Yeah, Ian Happ's going to be in there. Suzuki's going to be in there. Tucker's going to be in there. So Pete Crow is more likely going to be batting down here. Dansby, yeah, all those guys weren't in that last order. So Pete Crow's not going to be leading off. But having a monster spring, but he's likely going to be batting 7th. I'll take a guy batting 3rd that proved it over a guy batting 7th who has only done it in spring. Tanner Bybee, another sleeper that everybody's been talking about this preseason. All the pundits, all the talking heads. $6 pre-draft value, but he's one of the remaining good pitchers. Fortunately, I don't need to gamble on any pitchers from here on out. I can't gamble on anything. Only have $14 left. This worked out perfectly. No, all the money's gone, Syndrome. You don't get any more money, and it's an open waiver system where once a guy clears the waivers, anybody can grab them. You don't have to pay for your waiver guys. See, there's plenty of good players left. If we go down this list, like Brian Wu is an elite talent. He should go for more than this $6. Everybody knows Barrios, but it looks like here I'm going to throw a $4 bid on Barrios because he's good, and I'm already up to 5. Like I can mess with a few people with my remaining budget. Just getting guys to where they should be. Barrios is good enough. He's not elite anymore, but he's good enough. Brian Wu's got massive upside, so I would think that whoever's got money left should be bidding on Brian Wu for his strikeout ability. They have him projected at 143 innings and 130 strikeouts. That's way low. He's well over a strikeout an inning guy. Bryce Trank's day-to-day. Alexis Diaz is out. What's up with Alexis Diaz? Hamstring inflammation, not good. Not good. Volpe is going to be batting lower in the lineup. I don't expect him to go ham. If they had Volpe leading off, which they don't want, Yankees don't want him leading off, I don't think. unless they absolutely have to. He's not going to put up a bunch of counting stats. If he's batting like 7th, which I believe is where they want him, he's not going to get 86 runs. That number's not going to be there. Now here's Brian Wu. Let's see what happens. This is probably the last huge strikeout guy that's left, but he's also had a little bit of injury problems. He should be like a $10 player, but I don't think many people have enough money left to bid on him. Don't look at spring training stats. They mean nothing. No, they don't mean everything, but they don't mean nothing. Because, I mean, how a player does in spring training means if they're going to make the team or not, let alone, you know, like, they do mean something, but don't put like a bunch of weight on it. But you do like to see that a guy's doing well. Like, here's where I'll look at spring training stats for somebody who's made an adjustment and made improvements. But I don't like fault a guy if he's not batting well in spring training if he's like an established big leaguer. So Brian Wu went for $7. That's good. It's a good price. Fair price, standard price. Didn't overpay, didn't underpay. This is about where he should be. Like, if you look at a guy like I would like to see, like, how is Goldie doing in spring training? Is he looking old because he is old? Or is he looking fresh and revitalized? Like, he's in a new ballpark, he's on a new team, he's looking good. That's the kind of thing I like to look at. Or, you know, an Arenado. Like, is he, like, are these guys washed? But it is just spring training, so maybe they're not trying, but they're trying to get their timing is what's going on. Not a lot of walks. You don't look at, like, their on-base percentage in spring training. Like, that means nothing to me. On-base percentage in spring training means nothing. But how's their slug look? Are they hitting the ball hard? That's what I want to see. Is there timing there? Like, if they've got 35, 40 ABs and they're hitting the ball hard, that's a good sign of things to come. But an established player who's not injured, who's not doing anything, not doing well in spring training, I don't care. A young guy, I like to see a young guy crushing it, who's like going to make the team and you can get him for cheap. You can look at that. So I kind of agree, but at the same time, you can gather some things out of spring training. Also, like fastball velocity out of pitchers, maybe. Like, a lot of pitchers like to work on things, a new pitch or whatever in spring training, but you can also see, like, for Grayson Rodriguez, for example, you know, his velocity was down, and then all of a sudden, boom, like, he's hurt. So, or, you know, it's not like the end of the world. He's going to come back. He should be okay. But I don't like my pitchers starting the season with elbow inflammation. That's not good. Xavier Edwards, yuck. No thanks. No power on the worst team. Nah. But at the same time, I mean, $5, you got to spend your money somehow. I like Bryce Terang, but he is day-to-day with a shoulder fatigue. So that's, you know, are you going to look at that? I'm looking at that, and that's why he's so low. He's going to steal you a ton of bases. Not a lot of power, but he's just a second baseman. And steals at this point, elite steals guys are just like, this is the last elite steals guy. So, and he got overpaid a little bit, but $7. Like, anybody at this point, you're not really overpaying for anybody at this point because you don't have the money to overpay. So my weakness on my team, though, is outfield. I don't have like a super stud unless Jackson Merrill turns out to be like a 30 guy. If he can increase a little bit, Langford could be a super stud. Back to the what's a player doing in spring training. I'm looking at Wyatt Langford, and I'm seeing that he's made improvements, he's made strides, and he's turning into the type of player that everybody thought he could be, and he's leading off. Like, and he's hitting home runs, he's doing it all. So I like to look at that. Let's look at it. Langford leading off. He had a home run today, or whenever this was. Was that today? This is his last game. Look at 481 average, 815 slug. He's murking. He's like one of the best players. If he was some guy that no pedigree, he's a guy that nobody knows about, and he's doing that, then it doesn't mean much to me. But Langford's a guy who has a really high pedigree and big time prospect. He made it really quick into the bigs, and he just didn't do a whole lot last year. But he's in a position to succeed this year. And I'm looking at this going, whoa. Like, is he going to do that? No, that's ridiculous. Obviously, he's not going to hit 481. But the fact that his timing is there already, and he's obviously been working on the offseason, I love to see that. Scherzer looking real good. That doesn't do much for me because Scherzer's old. So he could just go down tomorrow. And in my mind, like, Scherzer could just be out. He's one pitch away. Let's look at Max. Hall of Famer Max Scherzer. Look at this. Wow. Look at this stretch. But then womp womp. When was the last time he pitched more than 10 games? I guess 2023 he was still good for 2 teams, 13 games in 2023, but not a lot of games pitched for quite a while. Or those are just wins. Games started is what I want to look at. Okay, he had 19 starts. But the last 2 years in Texas, not that great. 418, I don't know, man. I'm not in on Max. He's too old. He's 40 years old. He's going to be 41. I do like Taylor Ward, though. Someone's going to get a good deal on Taylor Ward. There we go. That's about time. Yeah, bid him up. Underrated Taylor Ward. Going to have Mike Trout around him. Look at, yeah, he's all the way up to $8. I'm not the only one that was thinking that. Saw Job pitch against the Jays in spring training. His stuff is filthy. Yeah, he's filthy. Castellanos can get you 25. I don't think batting 7th he can get 25. But it's not out of the realm. I wouldn't be super shocked. What did I do with... I do with my baseball reference page. Let's look at Nick. Castellanos, 33 years old, so this is probably the last year where he can do much of anything. Big drop off after his age 30, anybody's age 34 season. Last year he was aight, but he was still batting a little bit higher up. Yeah, 23 home runs last year. But look at this stretch. He's never, like, he's always close to 20. But OPS plus a 106, 112, 96. He had a good year in 2021 when he was 29 years old. But, I mean, it just all depends on what you have to pay. Castellanos has always been more of a batting average guy. He can kind of do a lot of different things, but streaky, a little streaky too. 100 RBIs 2 years ago. Like, that's great. Like when Castellanos is batting 4th, even 5th, but I don't think he's going to be batting there. Let's see. I thought we looked and he was like 7th. Yeah, he's way down in the order. 1, 2. It goes Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bohm, Kepler, Realmuto, Castellanos. So, batting 7th. I don't know that Nick gets 20, 25 home runs. I think closer to 20. He's probably like 19 to 20, 18 to 20. He's never been a guy who is like known for his power. He's been more of a contact hitter. But in his prime, he could definitely get a hold of one, especially when he's getting tons of ABs. But he's not going to get as many ABs batting 7th. And he's not doing well in spring training either. Batting 154 in spring training with no power. 308 slug. Offense could be better. I beg to differ. I spent a lot of money on offense. It's a limit, man. There's only so much you can spend. My outfield, I could use. I mean, where can it be better? Elite. You can't have every single guy be elite. I love my team. I think this is one of the best teams I've ever drafted, actually. I don't expect much out of Chapman, so my third base is like in the air, but he had a really good season last year. Semion's getting a little older, but he's still one of the best second basemen in the league with power. I'm looking for power. Power. Win you stolen bases. Power and stolen bases. I mean, not huge power, but both of these guys. Every one of my guys is multifaceted, pretty much, except for Pete. And Semion's not going to get stolen bases, and Chapman's not either. But I got plenty of guys that can do it all. Love it. We got 14 teams in this league, so if you're comparing it to like a 12-team league or a 10-team league, I can see where you would think that it could be better. But we have 14 teams in this league, so things are spread a lot thinner than you would think. And like I've been saying the whole time, my team for the first month and a half usually is below average because I spend a lot of money on like elite players, and then I fill in the rest of my roster throughout the year off of the waivers and prospects that come up and things like that. Hey, Bohm's another guy, batting average guy. Not interested. But we're starting to get to the point where I'm going to have to make a move on somebody. I don't have much. I can spend like $3, I think, is the most I can spend, maybe $4, and then it's all $1 players. So pretty much $1 players, and everybody's still at the $3 to $6 range, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 on guys. So I can't really get involved for a little while still, but we're getting there. Look at getting down to the $1. A lot of $1 and $0 guys coming up, and these are just like holdover type of players, like just kind of get you through. You differ on elite. I mean, I don't think you're coming in here at the end, man, and you're in a 10-team league. It's way different. 10-team league is way different, dude. Way different. And we had keepers, man. So like 28 of the top players in the league were kept on different people's teams. Look at all the guys that were kept. Gunner, Tucker, Ellie, Merrill, Riley Green, Adley, Bobby, Tovar, Otani, Jose Ramirez, Schwarber, Mookie, Marte, Jarren Duran, Corbin Carroll. So those guys weren't even available. So you got to just pick from, and you only have so much to spend. It's a salary cap league. So if you spend a bunch of money on one guy, you can't spend, you're like broke. You can only really have like a couple of elite guys per like offense or pitching on your team. You don't have any more money to spend. It's not a snake draft where you can just like, there's elite guys for a little while. Yeah, you can look at everybody else's offense. We can judge everybody else's offense and see where they're at. So let's see. He's got 2 elite players on offense, just offense. He's got 4 elite players on offense. 2 of them are keepers. He's got 1. He's got 3. He's got none. He's got 1, maybe 2 if he's back. But we don't, there's always going to be guys we don't know. Like Freeman is, I don't know. Albies, hopefully, maybe. Not so sure. I think Albies is having a pretty rough spring. He could have 3. Adley, maybe 4. He's got 1, maybe 2, but we don't know. He's got 1 that he kept. 2. Maybe Duran. I don't know if that's elite. Close. If not, it's close. He's got nobody except for Trout if he has a bounce back year. See what I mean? Like, it's tough. Like, not everybody, the most you're going to have really is like 4. I think I've got 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. If Semien works out. How many Tigers games do you try to go to a year? A couple. I'm going to opening day this year. Probably go to another 1 or 2 after that. I don't know. Gotta nominate somebody. I don't know. I don't even care. Whoever. How about Mason Wynn? It's a good player. Who needs a shortstop? Like, at this point in the draft, the solid player to add to your second base / shortstop spot. Be a good guy. I'd like having him as my utility guy, but I wouldn't pay a lot because he's another batting average guy. But nobody at this point is elite anymore or even close to it. These are all guys that are just like filling out your lineup. Get what you get. They're not going to hurt you too much, probably. Some of them might help you out a lot still. Tough to know. Lots of question marks. Trevor McGill going for, people still need relief pitchers, still need closers. $7, a little bit of a overpaying, maybe. I don't know, maybe not. I like to get one guy that's in that range, but I don't have the money to spend anymore. I'm good with my 2 elite closers, and I'll pick one up off the waivers. That's my plan. How do the keepers work? You keep them for whatever you drafted them for, and if you pick them off the waivers and nobody drafted them, they're $1. And if someone did draft them, it's that price. And then if you keep them 2 years in a row, you add $10, and you add $10 each year after that. Just so somebody doesn't get to keep a guy for $1 forever. The money situation is pretty tight. Jobu's got plenty to spend. These 3 have plenty to spend still. Everybody else is pretty close to the same spot. Gunners has plenty of money to spend. But there's nobody I really want to spend money on at this point. Because as you scroll down, you got a lot of guys in the same realm. Not a lot of offensive players, but tons of pitchers. Tons of pitchers. I'm seeing a few decent offensive players. Let's go just batters and see who we got. Well, Robbie Ray's got a lot of upside. Didn't do well last year, 4.70 ERA. They're expecting a 4.22. He's been a little volatile over his career, but gets you a lot of strikeouts. I wouldn't mind having Robbie, but I don't need any more pitchers. Totally and Coors. Yeah. But I think he's probably going to get... Oh, he was $7. Yeah, that's too much. I can't afford it. Basically, everybody I draft from this point on is going to be guys that I'm willing to waive at any point in the season. Got Ellie and Merrill for the next 2 years at least. Yeah. I usually don't hold on to guys for more than two to 3 years because I have better value. Like I'll find guys that are a better value. Merrill will be a keeper next year, but I'll be picking up prospects throughout the year that nobody else knows about, but I'll know because I play daily fantasy, so I'll know when guys get called up and when they get put into the order and stuff, and I'll just grab them. Some of them will work out, some of them won't, but those will be dollar players I'll be able to keep next year. Like I had probably 10 players on my roster this year that were like $1 that I could have kept. A lot of good players. James Wood, Dylan Cruz, Junior Caminero. I had Ozzy Albies for $1, Jacob deGrom for $1. Guys that start the season out hurt that come back, you can pick them up for $1, and then it's easy. That kind of thing's easy. So I'm not worried about keepers. I've always had more keepers than I know what to do with. None of these guys are going to be keepers except for Ellie and Merrill. Like you said, I could keep them for the next couple of years if I want, but I'll probably have better value. Maybe not Ellie. Ellie's probably going to be a $50 player, so he's going to be my guy for a while. And Merrill could be. We still don't know 100% on Merrill. See what happens in his second year. A lot of times second years are tough on players because pitchers adjust. The rest of the league adjusts. But he's in a much better spot than he was last year. Going to be batting third as opposed to like 6th or 7th. He was way down the order for most of the year last year, and he still produced. So I'm expecting big things out of Merrill. Are you using real cash or fake money? Well, for the draft, these are just like everybody gets 260, fake dollars, draft dollars or whatever. But that would be interesting if everybody put in 260 real money. That'd be really interesting, but these guys aren't down for that. A few people would be, but most of them aren't down for that. Drake with a 30-month hitter chat. Got here late? Who are your big boys on the squad? I got Pete at first base, Simeon at second, Chapman at third, Ellie at short, Lindor at utility, Jackson Merrill, Wyatt Langford. And then I got a couple of elite closers, Munoz and Diaz. I've got Steele and Imanaga and Alcantara and Ryan are going to be my horses. And I got upside with Job. And Alcantara is not going to be like a horse. They're not going to run him out there for lots of innings right off the bat, but he's so good that he could be super elite and get traded to a good team. He's supposed to get traded, so he could go to the Yankees. I could see him going to the Yankees, and then his value will be way higher. They need a pitcher. It's a category league, so, we're trying to fill categories here. Ellie locks up steals for me. Pete locks up home runs. Doesn't lock it up, but like Ellie locks up steals. You get a few steals out of all these other guys too. And then home runs, you get a few home runs out of all these other guys too. So I'm good on offensive categories. Batting average is hit or miss. So some weeks I'll win, some weeks I won't. RBIs, lots of good RBI guys. Lots of runs from Ellie as well and Lindor. But there's always going to be question marks. You know, we don't know what Langford's going to do, really. Like, he looks really, really good right now, but we don't really know. I like Jimenez, but he's batting lower in the lineup, too. I think he's, like, last I looked, the 6th. I like him a lot better leading off. More relief pitchers. People were really overpaying for pitching early too. So I like my pitching. This is the best pitching staff starting out I've ever had. Usually I only have like 2 good pitchers. Looks like everybody's right around. Better hope he doesn't go to Yankee Stadium, says Owen. I hope he does. They'll get some wins at least. Wins are tough. Wins have been tough for a while. Last few years, like, people aren't going out there for like a solid 6, 7, 8 innings anymore. It's like 5 innings, a lot of guys, and maybe 4 2/3. A lot of teams are changing up that strategy, having an opener come in too, and it's messy. So you can't really play for wins. You just got to hope you get them. Hope you get guys who can pitch some innings. I don't know if I have many of those guys. I see a lot of guys on my pitching staff that are maybe going to have innings restrictions for a while at least. But a lot of teams are going to be like that with their pitchers. Tommy Edman, multi-position eligibility on the best team. Looks like pretty much everybody's at about a $3 point where $3 to $4. Yeah, you nominate a guy for $1. Someone comes in over top. Maybe one guy goes over him, and then some people are capped on how much they can spend. All these there's 3 guys auto drafting now. But there's always a couple guys here at the end of the draft that can help you out a lot if you play your cards right. I've got a few guys in mind. I had a few guys on my list here, dollar players that I'm looking at. $0 or $1. It's my turn to nominate a guy. Let's go, I don't know. Yeah, top guy. My bad. Up to 4. Sam says I did a Yahoo auction and just splurged on Ohtani, Witt, Judge, and Skubal. Big time stars and scrubs. Wow, you have a lot of keepers, Beanie. Ellie, Gunnar, Judge, Ohtani, and Merrill in a dynasty league. Wow, Colton Cowser up to $12. Jobu needs to spend some money, I see. Think it would hurt his ERA? Yeah, it would probably, but also I don't know about the defense behind him either in Miami. Is the defense better? Well, Dominguez is not looking like a great defender in the outfield. I don't know. I'd be A-okay with him getting traded to the Yankees, though. Basically, any team he's going to get traded to is going to be a contender. So it's going to be a better team around him, better chance for W's. Maybe inflates his ERA just a little bit, but he's so filthy that I'm not worried about that. It's like if Skubal got traded to the Yankees, you wouldn't be like, oh, now he's not going to be, now he's going to give up a lot more runs. A little bit more, but he's so filthy that it doesn't really matter. Can't hit the ball anyway. Jack Attack, drafting T-Fits. One last $2 player, and it's Lourdes Gurriel. Rhys Hoskins at first base. Low batting average, but he's playing a good ballpark. A little bit of injury history over the last couple of years. New change of scenery. I've always liked Rhys, but that low batting average is a little unappealing. And he's batting low in the lineup. I don't really want him. I'm not bidding 4 on him. Lower. If he was batting cleanup, I'd be all about him. But I think he's gonna be batting like 5th or 6th. I got the first and third base spot that I need to fill. A couple of outfield spots. Utility. I'm not worried about. Anybody can go in there. And then just some random pitching. I'd like to fill in the rest of these empty spots with pitching, but it doesn't even matter. I'm gonna be waiving probably all of these bench guys at some point. Brandon Pfaadt, another guy who has been talked about this preseason as a guy to target, and it looks like people know that. Top Gunners definitely knows that. He's not my guy. India got a shot to be decent in KC. Yeah. I don't have a spot for him in my lineup, though. I guess he could be a utility guy, but I don't want to put a second baseman in at my utility spot, really. I'd rather put a power guy at my utility slot. I'm locked up in the second shortstop, second baseman. Eflin should be pretty good. He's always got decent ERA. Okay strikeouts. Still got quite a few guys here who you wouldn't mind having on your team. Bowden Francis, there's a little sneaky play, potentially. They see him doing worse than he did last year by a significant margin. They don't think that he can keep that 3.30 ERA. I'm not really in on him. I don't know. I got to save my couple of bucks extra for somebody. I don't really know who, though. There's a couple guys down here I like. Lots of question marks on all the remaining players. If anybody hasn't hit the like button yet, that was a good time. Eflin's a beast. I don't know about that. He's good, but he's not a beast. A career 4.17 ERA. I wouldn't call him a beast. 62 and 62 over his career. This is all right. 1.22 whip. It's okay. Never comes close to a strikeout inning, really. He only did one year. He's had one good year. But he's fine. Like at this point in the draft, it's perfectly fine. $4, yeah. Why not? But he's also a guy I'd waive if I had to. Like if he didn't start out well, you could just waive him, stream some other guy. Plenty of guys that can have a 4 ERA and less than a strikeout inning. Like that's literally everybody. Everybody in the bigs pretty much. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be a pitcher in the bigs for very long. $4 Gurriel. I would have taken him, but he would have had to have been the guy that I paid up for. Arenado. I got a first, third spot to fill, I guess. And I'm out of money. Oh, he's going to get bid up a little bit. They're projecting him to hit 20 home runs, 271, 82 RBIs. At this point in the draft, it's a good player. One of the best players left. Sub 3 ERA for a small sample size beanie. You should probably value like what's he done over the course of his career. He's been in the league for a long time, and he is who he is. His ERA last year, which everybody knows ERA doesn't mean anything. What really matters is like look at their underlying stats, like their FIP, which you might not even know what that means, but his FIP was 394. He's a career 402 FIP, which that's who he is. He's not a 260 guy. Never has been, never will be. Through 9 games, he had a 260 ERA. You think that's who he is? You better, glad you're not the GM. Jordan Romano for $10. Woo! Foul balls. Got some money to spend. Not no mo. Tyler Holton. My turn to nominate a player. George Springer. Everybody loves George Springer. Not me, though. I think George Springer's washed. Probably been washed for a while. George Springer. Oh, yeah. 35 and a half years old. 220 batting average last year. Big drop. And that's with 614 plate appearances, too. 92 OPS plus. Big drop off last year. Springer. Has anyone drafted Junior on the Rays? Yeah. Yeah, long ago. He was a little bit of an early. He was out quite a while ago. Well, I missed out on Lane Thomas. That was the guy I wanted. I like Lane Thomas. Solid. Michael Bush. Make Top Gunners play a little bit more for him. Or I'll take him. I need that first third spot filled. Where are we at? 3 hours, 40 minutes live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to that point. Late in the draft, getting kind of boring. Lots of just dollar players left from here on out. So I'm going to bid you adieu. And tomorrow, I'm going to come out with a sweet video. You're going to like it. You've never seen anything like it before. So be ready for that.